Chapter 2484. So powerful. Su Tianke and Ling Lanin exclaimed at the same time. The three of them combined the power of the ancient mythical beasts, but they only managed to slightly injure Fu Yi. Such strength was definitely at stage 5 or stage 6 of Yuan Sky. Little Handsome, are you alright? Feng Kuang Yijian stood beside Little Handsome Su. Little Handsome Su shook his head slightly and said coldly, "When Master escapes from the formation, the Sword King's Starfield will definitely help Master," Feng Kuang Yijian said in a low voice. At this critical moment, Little Handsome Su turned around and said with a touched face, "Good boy, I didn't misjudge you." Then, Little Handsome Su looked at the elders of the Sword King City who were still protecting Su Yi in the sky. Energy soared into the sky. The mysterious eel had reached the most critical moment. Little Handsome Su and the other two looked at each other with cold eyes. They didn't need to say anything to know that they had already made up their minds. The Sword King Starfield was such a loyal and righteous people. How could they abandon them? Their boss had broken through to half-step Yuan Sky, and they had to take care of this matter even if they had to die. No matter what, they couldn't let Fu Yi find out about their boss's existence. Thump! Thump! The four black emissaries stood up and shook their heads. Other than being a little dizzy, they weren't injured in any other way. The black emissaries' physical strength was evident. "Take them away," Fu Yi said quietly. No matter how powerful Little Handsome Su was, with Fu Ye's cultivation, he could tell that this kind of attack could only be used once. "How dare you?" Feng Kuang Yijian shouted angrily. His long robe fluttered, and the cold wind of his sword rippled in front of Little Handsome Su again. "Don't touch Master." Feng Yun and Feng Yu also stood in front of Little Handsome Su and Su Tianke. In an instant, the atmosphere was tense. It seemed that the Sword King Starfield was going to protect the three of them until the end. "In the name of the Tribunal, I ask one last time. Will the Sword King Starfield let them go?" Fu Ye's voice was cold and piercing, revealing a bone-piercing murderous intent. He meant that he had given enough face to the Sword King Starfield. As long as the Sword King Starfield said no, they would immediately attack the Sword King Starfield in the name of the Tribunal. Today, the Sword King Starfield would also welcome a storm of blood. Feng Kuang's sword didn't look sideways. Behind him, a group of experts stood behind the Domain Master. Their expressions were solemn, and they all looked like they were ready to sacrifice themselves for justice. Boom! Fu Yi turned around and didn't say anything unnecessary. The four black emissaries raised their black staffs in unison. Immediately, a mysterious and complicated light spread out above their heads. As the mysterious incantation was chanted, the voices of the four black envoys spun faster and faster on the spot. Like a black storm, space exploded along with it. Bang! At this moment, a ferocious dragon roar could be heard coming from the Forbidden Forest. The heavenly clouds trembled and multicolored light shone for 10,000 li dazzling and dazzling. The golden red light intertwined like divine chains and covered the entire forest. Boom! At this moment, all the experts of half-step to Origin Stage 6 and above in the Sword King Starfield had already removed the array. They had already heard what was happening below. In an instant, they rushed to Feng Kuang's side to protect the Domain Master. At the same time, the four black emissaries stopped their powerful waves and looked up at the sky. As the golden light dissipated in the air, an even more ferocious roar of a divine bird made everyone cover their ears. Their eardrums were in pain. All the experts looked back with trembling eyes. Although this kind of legendary ancient divine beast was not rare in the Starfield, it was the first time they had seen such a ferocious roar. Above the void, light and sound waves came one after another. As the golden light spread out, the earth-shattering roar made everyone's heart tremble. Lord Fu Yi slowly turned around and stared at the illusory figure of the divine bird in the sky. His eyes were also filled with splendor. Who was singing just now? Singing as if his wife had died. A deep and gloomy male voice came from the dense forest behind him. Following the voice, everyone looked at the dense forest. They saw a man in a green robe walking with mysterious steps to handsome Su like a ghost. Boss! Handsome Su looked up at Su Yi. At this moment, Su Yi's body was filled with an indescribable, domineering aura. Although he was only at the first stage of the half-step origin sky realm, compared to the Yuan domain realm, the difference was like heaven and earth. Su Yi looked down at handsome Su. Behind him, Su Tianke and Ling Lanin were both excited. He said, "It's been hard on you guys to stand in front of me." Then, Su Yi raised his chin at Lord Fu Yi, who had turned around. "This beautiful lady is not bad-looking. Why are you biting people without distinguishing right from wrong?" "What did you say?" Fu Yi frowned and waved his hand. The four black emissaries took a step back. Fu Yi walked up and sized up Su Yi. He couldn't help but feel his heart tremble. The man in front of him was only at the first stage of the half-step origin sky realm. However, he always revealed a domineering aura that looked down on the world. His deep eyes hid endless Taoist connotation. Even Fu Ye's soul energy could feel a nameless fluctuation. The man in front of him had an extremely powerful soul energy. Suddenly, Fu Ye's eyes, which were hidden under the thin veil, throbbed slightly. "I'm very handsome, right?" He said calmly with a smile on his face. "How dare you disrespect the law master of the execution court? You deserve to die." One of the black emissaries roared. Fu Yi stretched out his arm and stopped the black emissaries. He said softly, "You're quite interesting. Are you the one who knows the clues?" "Of course I know." Su Yi raised his eyebrows and didn't think much of it. "Boss." Handsome Su Tianke, and Ling Lanin were very anxious. Fu Yi nodded. Under everyone's watchful eyes, he instantly approached Su Yi. The two of them were only about a fist's length apart. From Su Yi's clear and flawless eyes, Fu Yi couldn't see any secrets. Suddenly, Su Yi chuckled. "You're too close. Aren't you afraid that I'll see through you?" Su Yi said this sentence with his primordial chi. No one else could hear it. As soon as he finished speaking, the Origin Supreme technique burst out from his pores. The fierce power was like a god descending to the world. It was extremely domineering. The fierce wind blew their clothes up. Fu Ye's eyes, which were like stagnant water, seemed to have a long-lost ripple. Some images appeared in their minds. "Someone needs to be sacrificed for the crime committed by your sister. I know. The law master needs to cut off the 7 emotions and 6 desires. From now on, you'll be a speck of dust and a piece of ice crystal between heaven and earth. Are you willing to do that?" "Yes." The young Wen Fu Yi knelt in front of the law palace. Clear tears flowed down his face. With a cry, a wisp of soul flowed out from between his eyebrows. Buzz! In an instant, Venerable Cover Leaf felt as if he had been cut off from the world. His mind turned back to look at the smiling Su Yi. The corner of Venerable Cover Leaf's mouth sank as he said in a low voice, "Black Envoy, take him back." Chapter 2485. Boss, Master Su Yi, Feng Kuang Sword, Feng Yun, Feng Yu, Su Xiaoshui, Su Tianke, and the others all shouted. Light exploded, and boiling, killing intent surged out. Suddenly, the 4 black envoys stood in front of Su Yi. They slowly turned their heads and saw Su Yi's calm face. "Let's do what we have to do. Our goal is to save the Starfield," Su Yi said with a smile. "Let's go. You're the best at bragging." The black envoys urged Su Yi. In front of him, Venerable Leaf also heard Su Yi's words. He paused for a moment, and a slight shock appeared on his face. Then he disappeared. Boom! A huge space vortex appeared out of thin air, and Su Yi, Venerable Leaf, and the others left. "What should we do?" "We have to save Master Su Yi." Feng Kuang One Sword's eyes were red. He was so anxious that he was about to spit fire. "Let's go back and discuss this," Su Xiaoshui said coldly. Feng Kuang One Sword and the other Starfield elders were very anxious. They kept talking at the same time. "No, sir. You don't know what kind of place the judicial court is. It's always a place where you can enter but not leave. Sir, you can't be careless. That's the most capable helper of Southern Domain's Dominator." The judicial court is not a joke. Su Xiaoshui, who was a little annoyed, had reached the limit of his patience. He shouted in a shrill voice, "Damn it! I know it too. Stop talking. Go save him. If you can't, then shut up." Everyone was silent. Pairs of innocent eyes looked at Su Xiaoshui, Su Tianke, and the others in shock. "How can we save Sui?" Ling Lanin looked at Su Tianke helplessly. Su Tianke looked helplessly at Su Xiaoshui, who was pacing back and forth in the room with his fat hands behind his back. Su Xiaoshui tapped the coffee table. "Don't panic. I know our boss's strength the best. Before he left, he told us to do what we have to do. Let's go to the Chaos Demon Starfield when we're ready. The Disorder Demon Star Zone." Su Tianke's eyes lit up. The Chaos Demon Starfield was where Su Tianke and Ling Lanin had found clues about the realm of the gods. "That's right. Boss is the Chaos Demonic Emperor. What can these small galaxies do to him?" Handsome Su said. Immediately, the three of them called Feng Kuang Yijian over and told him about the clues. Feng Kuang Yijian immediately agreed to go with them. In the palace of the Dharma Master, the starry sky was vast and boundless. The four black envoys escorted Su Yi to the palace under the guidance of Venerable Fu Yi. Bright spots of light floated in the air. Some were like spirits, some were like demons, and some were like humans. They emitted a mysterious radiance. "Let's go." Black Mission ordered Su Yi. But no matter how hard the black emissaries tried, Su Yi's expression never changed. He walked gracefully and leisurely, and the four black emissaries followed him like little brothers. "You're so hateful." The black emissaries raised their fists and were about to hit Su Yi's head. "If I were you, I wouldn't challenge someone you can't defeat," Su Yi said as he put his head under his fists. The four black emissaries roared and exerted their strength at the same time. One of the black emissaries said angrily, "You're still lying when you're here? No one has ever dared to be so arrogant in front of us four brothers." Suddenly, Su Yi laughed wildly and lowered his feet. No matter how hard the black emissaries tried to drag him, he wouldn't budge at all. He was as immovable as a rock. "If you want to play, I'll play with you." Su Yi's eyes shone brightly, and his body was instantly enveloped by a blazing light. Swish! The invisible wings on his back flapped rapidly and pulled the chains of the four black emissaries up. At the same time, he tapped his feet lightly, and a vortex suddenly appeared. He turned into a ball of light and shot toward the void. Swish! 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 Deep in the sky, Su Yi's wild and wanton laughter reverberated in the depths of the sky. At this moment, Venerable Leaf didn't look back. She lifted her feet and walked toward the high stairs of the palace. Bam! For heavy thuds resounded again. The four black emissaries fell to the ground like dead pigs. They saw stars and foamed at the mouth as they fainted. Clapping his hands lightly, Su Yi's robe fluttered and his eyes flashed. He quickly caught up with Venerable Leaf with a smile on his face. He was calm and unruffled. "Did you let me catch you on purpose?" Venerable Leaf lifted the front of her dress slightly. Her voice was like the spring water in the mountains, cold and smooth. Su Yi pursed his lips and shrugged. He looked at the beauty who was supposed to be able to topple cities and said seriously, "Am I not the one who followed you here?" At this moment, the two of them entered the palace. Venerable Leaf was slightly startled. She smiled and continued to walk forward. "How interesting. You are the first person who wants to follow me into the Spell Master's palace. I'm afraid there won't be anyone else in the future." Su Yi opened his palm. His pupils kept scanning the exquisite carvings on the walls. The beautiful and holy carvings on the walls depicted the magnificent scene of the realm of the gods since the first immemorial catastrophe. On the other side, the carvings depicted the flourishing scene of various star areas after the second immemorial catastrophe. "What do you want to do?" Fu Yi walked in front. She didn't seem to treat Su Yi as a prisoner. Su Yi raised his eyebrows and thought for a while. "It's very simple. I want to know some clues about the realm of the gods from you." The spell master caught Su-yi to get information about the realm of the gods. However, Su-yi said the opposite. Fu-yi smiled and didn't say anything. If Su-yi wasn't an idiot, he was probably a bold fool. Hee, Sister Fu-yi, where did you get such an interesting guy? In the depths of the dome, a bell-like voice suddenly resounded. Immediately, Fu-yi frowned and stopped in his tracks. Whoosh whoosh, a fragrant wind dispersed. Suddenly, a dreamy flower petal storm appeared between heaven and earth. Elegant flower petals slowly fell from the sky. In the colorful and elegant space ripples, a figure slowly walked out. Taking a closer look, the figure of the newcomer was also hot. However, her face changed between mature and immature. If Venerable Leaf was an orchid in the mountains, then this woman was the man-eating demon flower in the 100-Flower Valley. She looked charming, but in reality, she could kill. Yin-chani, long time no see. Fu-yi bowed slightly and quietly stood in front of Su-yi. Su-yi's heart shook. This was one of the 3 spell masters, Yin-chani of the illusory demon star zone. As expected, she was born with a bewitching aura. Su-yi was slightly speechless in his heart. After Yin-chani's gaze swept across Su-yi's body, her lips curled into a smile. Sister Fu-yi, are you here to bring a clue or a lover? Chapter 2486. Suddenly, Venerable Fu-yi's eyes flashed with a cold light. His body surged with energy, causing Su-yi's blood to boil. If you don't know how to speak, you don't have to. If you can't find any clues, it's fine if you admit defeat. Hearing this, Yin-chani's expression changed. Killing intent appeared on her cold lips. She didn't give in at all. Thanks to Elder Sister, Chani has a way. But Elder Sister, don't bring back people with clues for either others or yourself. Oomph. Venerable Fu-yi smirked and said coldly, it's best if you have a way. I'll wait for your good results. Don't disappoint me. Nodding slightly, Fu-yi didn't look at Yin-chani anymore, leaving Yin-chani alone. Let's go. In front of Yin-chani, Fu-yi moved his hand and said softly. Su-yi faintly glanced at Yin-chani. The corner of his mouth twitched slightly as he quickly caught up with Venerable Overleaf. The two met face to face. Yin-chani's eyes flashed, and she said seductively, little brother? Su-yi raised his head. Yin-chani followed him, ignoring Fu-yi. Her charming eyes lingered on Su-yi's body like spring water. Suddenly, a soul pressure poured on Su-yi's body. Bang! Instantly, Yin-chani's face turned red like a peach blossom. She lowered her head like a little girl who had done something wrong. Putting his hand on Yin-chani's shoulder, Su-yi's eyes turned cold. He smiled and said, charming is a good thing, but not everyone likes it. Too charming is too vulgar. Come here. What are you doing? Venerable Fu-yi had his back facing Su-yi. Tilting his head, Su-yi quickly followed after her in a flash. Watching the two of them walk into the palace, Yin-chani lifted her head. Her eyes were vicious as she said, when Fu-yi, one day, I will step on your head. With an angry shout, a string of pink light disappeared. Yin-chani turned into a string of smoke and scattered outside the palace. What did you say to that woman just now? Fu-yi walked forward and brought Su-yi to a quiet valley. In front of the valley, there was an exquisite 3-story house. The dense light was like a divine temple. Fu-yi stopped in front of the house. Su-yi's expression changed. There was actually such a place in the palace. There were all kinds of wonders in the galaxy. Fu-yi's question, Su-yi. Su-yi shrugged his shoulders and said, to help you scold that fox. Fu-yi said, her eyes, intentionally or not. Su-yi didn't stand on ceremony. He found himself a tree trunk in front of the small house and leaned against it. He stretched out his hand lazily and plucked a spirit fruit, tasting it. As the spiritual fruit entered his body, it was sweet and fragrant. The energy of heaven and earth instantly surged into the great void divine sea. Although it was not as miraculous as the chaos spiritual liquid, it was still a rare holy item in the sky barbarian world. In comparison, The Sky Barbarian world was definitely poor and backward. It was no wonder that Wild Owl looked down on them. As he chewed on the spirit fruit, Su Yi's eyes were half open as he admired Fu Yi. Women like her were stubborn and could not be judged by common sense. She was a bit like Duan Mu Man. If you look at her one more time, you can forget about keeping your eyes. Fu Yi said, I'm speaking for you because I can't stand that woman's conduct. She thinks she can do whatever she wants just because she's prettier than you. I hate this kind of woman the most. Also, when I look at you, I feel a natural closeness to you. That's why I look at you more. Thump! Fu Yi suddenly stood up. Her eyes were filled with anger. She turned and walked into the house. She said softly, Don't say such nice things. I don't like to force people. I'll give you 2 hours. Wait for me to come out and tell me everything you know. There was no room for rejection. Fu Yi was already standing in front of the house. Su Yi ignored her and pretended to be asleep. She's really prettier than me? Fu Yi stopped in her tracks. She seemed to be unconvinced and turned around. Seeing that Su Yi was not replying, Fu Yi's expression instantly turned cold. She did not say a word and walked into the house in a fit of anger. Only when Fu Yi's figure disappeared did Su Yi smile. He laughed softly and leisurely laid on the tree trunk. In terms of appearance, Yun Chani was not as pretty as Fu Yi. As for the second sentence, it was also true. Fu Yi looked like she was in her early 30s. However, she gave people a natural sense of closeness, as if she was a relative. It was because of this feeling that Su Yi decided to come with Fu Yi. Intuition was never wrong. Fu Yi would not kill him. After coming, just as he expected, Fu Yi did not interrogate him like a criminal. The more this was the case, the more Su Yi was curious. Boom! Not long after, a deafening sound of metal rang out from the top of the small house. A golden light shone brightly in the sky. In the golden vortex, a faint figure slowly appeared. Su Yi, who had an outstanding spiritual sense, immediately activated the primordial origin supreme technique and retracted his aura. After reaching the half-step Yuan Tian stage, Su Yi was more proficient in concealing his Yuan Qi. He turned into a ball of light and entered the valley. In the sky, a man in a white robe clasped his hands together. His face was solemn as he faced the house. Is Sister Fu Yi here? His voice was deep and powerful. It was like the sound of a large bell. The entire valley trembled. In Su Yi's sight, Fu Yi slowly walked out. She was floating in the air, and her seductive body slightly bowed. Brother Fu Yi, Brother Fu Yi. The person who came was the Law Master of the Divine Yi Galaxy, Lord Fu Yi. Su Yi's eyes darkened. He held his breath and listened to the conversation between the two. May I know why Brother Fu Yi is here? The Decennial Dharma Controller Conference is about to begin. Junior Sister Chani should have come to find you, right? Fae looked up, his eyes glaring like Vajra. Fu Yi nodded lightly and said, She just came. This time, the Law Master Conference will be held in the Elysium Galaxy. Although you are from the Elysium Galaxy, there are some things that I can't help but nag. Fu Yi doesn't quite understand what you mean. Fu Yi closed his eyes and said in a low voice, Sister Chan, Yi, and you are all Law Masters of our galaxy. Don't you know what justice is? The Law Master Conference is held once every 10 years. It is held for 10 years to identify clues. At the end of the conference, everyone will come up with a plan to deal with the immemorial Great Calamity. This has been the rule for many years. I heard that in the past 2 years, Nan Ku has been hiding a woman. She is very related to the realm of the gods. Nan Ku is one of the 3 realm masters, so I can't say much. You are from the Elysium Galaxy. You should abide by the Law Master's commandment. During the conference, you should show us clues. Don't let the Elysium Galaxy destroy the entire galaxy for their own selfish desires. Chapter 2487. A Woman, Region Lord Nan Ku. Hearing this, Su Yi's heart flashed like lightning. Was Nan Ku hiding Su Yi? Fu Yi was a master, so the woman must be Yun Jing. In that case, Fu Yi had a great connection with his mother being taken away that year. Thinking of this, Su Yi's heart beat wildly. He clenched his hands into fists and listened carefully. In the sky, Fu Yi paused when he heard this. Soon after, he said, I understand. Senior brother is right. I will report this to Region Lord Nank. Then, the void shook, and Fu Yi disappeared. Fu Yi was absent-minded for a long time. Then, he heard Su Yi's cold voice behind him. Fu Yi, did you take Yunjing? Su Yi's eyes were blood-red. His hands were already wrapped in primordial qi. Turning around, Fu Yi's pale-colored eyes surged with fluctuations, and his voice became crisp and clear. What do you know? Boom! From Fu Yi's reaction, it was confirmed that Yunjing was taken away by Fu Yi. Suddenly, the Origin Supreme technique was activated. Su Yi turned into a ball of fire and rushed to Fu Yi instantly. Bang bang! Su Yi's aura exploded crazily. The surging power turned into a storm and bombarded Fu Yi. Chilala! Seeing that Su Yi was serious and his aura was violent, Fu Yi frowned. He stepped on his Xiangang and dodged Su Yi's fierce attack like passing through flowers and leaves. Bang bang! The void shook. The light on the small house burst out. The fierce explosion directly shattered the space inch by inch. The two fought at high speed in the air. At this moment, Su Yi's Grief Star and Xianling Fire Crystal were activated at the same time. The strength of a half-step Yuan Tian realm was directly close to Yuan Tian realm. Are you crazy? Fu Yi shouted. The more they fought, the more shocked he was. Su Yi's amazing ability shocked Fu Yi. Facing Su Yi's desperate attack, Fu Yi didn't fight back. He just kept retreating. Just as Su Yi said, Fu Yi also had a natural closeness to Su Yi. Looking at Su Yi's resolute and hateful eyes, he stretched out his leaf-covering palm and pushed Su Yi back. At this moment, Su Yi was already incomparably close to him. The two of them instantly attacked from the valley to the top of the cliff. Bang bang! Summoning the blood demon killing god sword, Su Yi drew a crisscrossing sword wave in front of him. Sword intent swept out, and the mountain behind him instantly exploded, revealing a desolate and ancient aura of terror. Under the desolate aura, Su Yi's body was surrounded by flames. His domineering aura was like a boulder, unshakable. Don't push your luck. Fu Yi retreated for the last time and said angrily. Su Yi raised the blood demon killing god sword, and the huge sword god swung out waves of sword waves. Scarlet light swept out, and the terrifying killing aura increased the killing intent. Give me an inch, and I want a mile. You captured my beloved from the heavenly barbarian region, and I'm going to take a yard after taking an inch? Bang! Like a wild beast out of the cage, Su Yi's body was instantly filled with a desolate aura. Profound and complicated arcs circulated, and the Emperor Sparrow's shadow had already condensed behind him. Opening his divine pupils, flames splashed out. Bang! With a heavy blow, Su Yi directly blocked Fu Yi with his sword. The bright flames reflected on Su Yi's hateful face, and Fu Yi's heart was rippling. Fu Yi was pressed against the mountain by Su Yi, and the two of them were separated by a heavy sword. Their eyes met, and both of them revealed a strange expression. Flames surged around his body, and surging battle intent condensed. He directly lifted Fu Yi's eye veil, and an incomparably exquisite jade face appeared in front of him. You came from the heavenly barbarian region? Fu Yi's mouth trembled as if he remembered something. Su Yi frowned and stared at Fu Yi fiercely. That's right. I came to find Yunjing. Speak. Why did you capture her? So her name is Yunjing. Fu Yi lowered his eyebrows, then looked at Su Yi and said, I am the Star Region Law Master. Why do you think I captured her? How would she know anything about the realm of the gods? Instantly, Su Yi froze, and his expression changed. That day, the Iron Soulfish had said that he was saved by Yunjing's wood heaven-suppressing stone. The wood heaven-suppressing stone was left to Yunjing by his mother. The wood heaven-suppressing stone was from the realm of the gods, and naturally, Yunjing was related to the realm of the gods. Fu Yi was expressionless. He looked at Su Yi, and a faint fluctuation flashed across his eyes. Heavenly Barbarian Region. But how is that possible? Heavenly Barbarian Region. How can there be such a coincidence? Fu Yi shook his head, and his gaze fell on the heavy sword. If you don't let go, I guarantee that you will never see Yun Jing again. Instantly, Su Yi came back to his senses and kept the blood demon killing god sword. The distance between the two of them was only a fist's distance, and a fragrance filled the air. Will Yun Jing appear at the Dharma Controller Conference? Su Yi asked. Fu Yi was silent for a moment and said softly, Yes, bring me there. I want to participate in the Dharma Controller Conference too. Su Yi said urgently. Suddenly, Fu Ye's eyes widened, and the space of the Origin Sky realm pushed Su Yi away. The demon dragon war god armor roared, and the golden dragon flashed. Go, Yun Jing's life in exchange for yours. I can pretend that I have never seen you. Fu Yi stood gracefully, looking at the pale Su Yi in the distance. Su Yi's eyes twitched in pain. Fu Yi had been retreating, and if he attacked, he would not be able to talk about Yun Jing anymore. However, he came to the outer realm for Yun Jing, so how could he give up? No, I want to see Yun Jing. If I don't see Yun Jing, it's no different from death. Fu Yi was a little dazed. She seemed to have seen this stubborn gaze somewhere before. Her nose twitched, and she said coldly, I said no. So no. Before I change my mind, leave it, go back to your sky barbarian. Don't ever come back. Whoosh whoosh. The leaves disappeared, leaving Su Yi alone in a daze. So Yun Jing was taken away by Fu Yi and Mother. Yes, Fu Yi must know where Mother is. His eyes surging, Su Yi swallowed a bottle of spirit liquid and rushed to the door of the house. Time passed, and 10 hours passed quickly. The sky of the house turned red, and it was strange and magical. When Fu Yi came out of the house, Su Yi was still waiting outside. Why are you still here? Are you not afraid of death? Fu Yi saw Su Yi, and anger came out of nowhere. Suddenly, a gust of wind blew, and an orchid pattern appeared between Fu Ye's eyebrows. Suddenly, the ground shook, and an aura that could make any creature in the world tremble swept through the world. Bang bang. Feeling the pressure, Su Yi took 3 steps back, plowing a half-meter-long hole in the ground. Su Yi was covered in soil, but his expression did not change. Blood kept flowing out of the corner of his mouth, and he looked at Fu Yi with determination. Take me to the Dharma Controller Conference. Impossible. Fu Yi replied without any hesitation. I must go to the Dharma Controller Conference. I must save Yun Jing. Who can you save? Chapter 2488. Fu Ye's nerves seemed to have been pricked. His figure floated down, and the powerful pressure turned into torrential wind and waves. Fu Yi stood calmly, looking down at Su Yi, and shouted, Just for your stupid love, you want to risk your life? You can't even beat me. Don't even think about Nank Region Lord. Their eyes met, and the anger in Su Yi's eyes didn't extinguish. When Fu Yi turned around, a deep voice sounded behind him. Not only to save Yun Jing, I also want to save my mother. Fu Yi clenched his hands and trembled. His eyes were glittering, and his heart seemed to have been greatly shocked. Your mother? Yes, my mother, Wen Fu. Was she also taken away by you? Su Yi jumped out. His blood was boiling, and his fighting spirit formed a circle in front of him. Seeing that Fu Yi didn't reply, Su Yi's footsteps flashed, and he rushed to the front of Fu Yi. At this time, Fu Yi didn't say a word like a wooden man. After a long while, Fu Ye's voice was trembling, and he said slowly, If you want to save your mother, quickly become stronger. Fu Yi raised his eyes and looked at Su Yi. His eyes were filled with endless coldness. Sure enough, his mother was also taken away by the ultimate paradise starfield. So, Yun Jing and his mother must be in the hands of Nank. Yun Jing was related to the realm of gods, but what about his mother? The wood suppression heavenly stone was no longer in his mother's hands. So why was it taken away? I heard that before you became a Dharma master, your surname was also one. Su Yi said lightly. Suddenly, Fu Ye's whole body trembled as if he was electrocuted. His fingers moved slightly, bypassed Su Yi, and wanted to enter the small house. Little ant, I know the secret of the realm of gods. After saying that, Fu Ye's Yuetong fluctuated, and his eyes rippled with surprise. He muttered to himself, "Little ant, what do you know?" Fu Ye's eyes were cold, and his exquisite face was imposing. He let out a long sigh of relief. After retracting his primordial chi, he immediately said, "I have the golden dragon and phoenix bloodline. You already know this. I know where the entrance to the realm of gods is. Let's see if we can cooperate." "Even if we cooperate, what ability do you have to save Yun Jing and your mother?" Fu Yi shook his head and smiled. "Whether or not I can save her is my business." Su Yi was determined to go to the Dharma Controller Assembly. Fu Ye's figure flashed, and a trace of gloominess flashed across his eyes. He nodded and said, "All right, then my job is to uphold justice. I only believe in the clues I find." Yun Jing had the wood heaven suppressing stone, so it must be related to the realm of the gods. I won't gamble on other clues that don't have solid evidence. Back then, because of his sister, Wen Fu, his threads of 7 emotions and 6 desires were taken away. From then on, Fu Yi was cut off from the love of the world. He lived for the people of the star area. Bang! The door of the small house slammed shut. Outside the door, Su Yi stood there in a daze. He was also at a loss. The Dharma Controller Conference was just around the corner, and Fei had come to ask the Ultimate Paradise Starfield not to hide anything. From the looks of it, Yun Jing and her mother were both within Nan Ku's restriction. What kind of person was Nan Ku? What kind of place was the Ultimate Paradise Starfield? Thinking of this, Su Yi could not wait at all. However, at this moment, without Fu Ye's help, should he go to the Dharma Controller Conference alone? Or go to the Chaos Demon Starfield alone? With his mind in a mess, Su Yi frowned. He was alone for a full 2 hours when Fu Ye's voice came from the small house. "Get ready and take me to the place you found." Instantly, Su Yi was pleasantly surprised. He looked at the small house. Fu Yi had already appeared outside the door with a serious face. "Change your mind." Su Yi followed. "I will settle the matter between your mother and me. If you really found the realm of the gods, I will plead for your sweetheart to the Nank Region Lord." Fu Ye's voice was rational and calm. Instantly, Su Yi was excited and said loudly, "Thank you, Auntie." Fu Yi frowned and said coldly, "I'm Fu Yi, a Dharma wielder, not your auntie." Then, Su Yi followed Fu Yi out of the palace and shrugged helplessly. Along the way, Fu Yi and Su Yi seemed to talk more. Fu Yi asked about his situation, whether the Su family was doing well, how Su Jinyuan was, and so on. Su Yi answered patiently. He could see that Fu Yi was not as heartless as he thought. There seemed to be a hidden story behind Wen Fu's kidnapping. Then, the two chatted for a long time. Wen Fu Yi told Su Yi that Dharma Controller and Illusory Demon Controller were the region lords of their respective starfields. Only the Ultimate Paradise Starfield was special, because the Ultimate Paradise Starfield was the strongest starfield in the entire starfield. The Dharma Controller had to be fair and strict. The region lord of the strongest starfield naturally could not take this position. In the Ultimate Paradise Starfield, the region lord's Imperial Guard Elder was the best candidate for Dharma Controller. "I see. But Ani, are there any special rules for Dharma Controller?" Su Yi asked curiously. "What do you know?" Fu Yi was as cold as ice. Su Yi recalled that he had seen Yun Chani and Fu Yi along the way. He had tried to use his soul pressure to spy on them. The two of them were like Fu Yi. He could not feel any emotional fluctuations. There was no great sadness or great joy. They were like stone men. Fu Ye's face darkened. She immediately shut up the conversation she had just started. "Take it. Put on. We're going out." A woman's heart was like a needle at the bottom of the ocean. Su Yi did not know how he had offended Fu Yi. He awkwardly changed into the black envoy's clothes and went out. There were 3 other black envoys following him. It was still a team of 5. Su Yi told Fu Yi to head to the Chaos Demon Starfield. After the 5 of them disappeared from the palace, a ray of light appeared in the sky. Yin Chani looked at Fu Yi in the distance and sneered. "In this Dharma Controller Conference, I will definitely not let you be in the limelight." Then, she disappeared among the clouds. The Chaos Demon Starfield. It was withered and bleak. A sense of death filled the air. Bolts of lightning flashed in the dark purple sky, adding a sense of horror. Little handsome Su Tianke, Ling Lanin, and Feng Kuang had arrived early to wait in the Chaos Demon Starfield. After waiting for a long time, little handsome Su became a little impatient. I wonder if boss escaped from that ugly woman. Little handsome Su said suspiciously. Little handsome, why do you keep calling her an ugly woman? Feng Kuang was puzzled. Fu Yi was one of the top beauties in the Starfield. How could she become an ugly woman in little handsome Su's mouth? If I say she's ugly, then she's ugly. Little handsome Su spat angrily. Su Tianke and Ling Lanin chuckled. Little handsome Su was a phoenix. How could he look at women with human eyes? Little handsome, look! Ling Lanin suddenly shouted toward the sky. Boom! In the void, the familiar thunderstorm vortex appeared again. Little handsome Su and Su Tianke saw Fu Yi and the 4 black envoys breaking through the void. Chapter 2489. Where's Master Su Yi? Why are there only 5 of them? Feng Kuang was even more confused. Little handsome Su and the other 3 quickly set up a barrier and concealed their aura. Looking at the 5 people slowly landing on the ground, everyone looked serious. Did the boss give in? That's impossible. Little handsome said angrily. The 5 of them stood where they were. Fu Yi looked around and said softly, I'm here to find some clues. There's no need for so many people. The other 3 go to the neighboring star regions and check. Fu Yi pointed at Su Yi, who was disguised as the Black Envoy, and said calmly, You just need to stay and help. Yes. The other 3 answered at the same time. After the 3 left, Su Yi didn't take off the Black Envoy suit just in case. Looking around, Su Yi rolled his eyes and said, This is the Chaos Devil Star Zone. Where's the handsome guy? Sister, are you fighting for your own food? Following the voice, Su Yi and Fu Yi looked at the sky at the same time. A light pink petal fell from the sky, and the mysterious patterns rippled. It's that woman again. Su Yi cursed in a low voice. Hide behind me, Fu Yi said softly. Yun Chani's delicate voice spread around as she slowly walked toward Fu Yi and Su. Yun Chani's beautiful eyes moved slightly, and there was a hint of provocation in her cold eyes. Sister, where's your little lover? Aren't you going to bring him out? Fu Yi frowned, and her face was gloomy and scary. She said arrogantly, Why are you following me? Yun Chani twisted her body slightly and looked at her. I'm here to do whatever sister is here to do. I'm here to relax, Fu Yi replied. Yun Chani walked forward, and a trace of murderous intent appeared on her white face. She said softly, Then I'm here to relax too. The Dharma Controller Conference is near. If I can't do anything, I won't be able to do anything either. You're looking for death. Fu Yi finally shouted, and her Yuan Sky realm power surged out. I'm not scared of you. Seeing this, Yun Chani also activated her Yuan Qi, and a fierce wave swept out. Colorful lights fell from the sky, and endless murderous intent stacked up. Let me help you. As he watched Yun Chani bully his little Annie, Su Yi pushed his primordial origin supreme technique to its limits. What a familiar aura. Yun Chani's expression changed as she saw that the Black Envoy's cultivation was much higher than before. Her expression immediately changed as she sent a portion of her strength to attack Su Yi. Ding! Go! As Yun Chan's sleeves unfolded, the seemingly powerless 5-colored flower petals instantly transformed into a sharp sword that shot towards Su Yi. Bang bang! The petal swords rushed towards Su Yi, only to hear a clanging sound as they were all dodged by Su Yi's golden dragon space. In the blink of an eye, the petals sprinkled down. Each petal shone with a dreamy luster, like thousands of fierce knives falling on Su Yi's body. With just this level of ability, I'm afraid you're not qualified. Heaven's Fire Splitting Palm. Suddenly, this mystical palm technique from the ancient scripture of heavenly Fei swept across the sky. In the impenetrable space of fire waves, countless palm prints collided with the flower petals. Bang, bang, bang. After a series of collisions, the golden flames swallowed all the flower petals, and a murderous aura filled the air. At this moment, Yin Chani and Fu Yi were still trembling. They didn't think that their flower petals would be broken so easily. On the other hand, the desolate waves of flames swept over. Yin Chani's body suddenly changed as she retracted her claws into a palm. Her eyebrows twitched as she angrily shouted, "You're not the Black Envoy. You're that stinking brat." Immediately, an even more terrifying aura filled the air. Golden light shone and covered the sky as an even more dazzling attack burst out from the center of her palm. Bang! The air shook violently as the waves of flames and flower petals collided. A giant crack appeared in the air. Yin Chani and Fu Yi separated as soon as they touched in the air. Yin Chani, who was at a loss, trembled slightly as her face turned cold. Staring at Su Yi and Fu Yi from afar, Yin Chani's entire body was covered in light as her energy soared into the sky. Su Yi also immediately stood beside Fu Yi. He took off his black robe and revealed his true appearance. His tall figure and handsome face made Yin Chani curse loudly. "It really is you. You stinking brat. That's right, it's me. How long has it been since we last met? Do you miss me again?" Su Yi said with a smile. Suddenly, the murderous intent in Yin Chani's eyes intensified. She angrily said, "Brat, you'll regret what you've done today. You dare to kill my people?" Fu Yi said faintly as he waved his sleeves. He was calm and unhurried. "Ha ha ha." Yin Chani was so angry that she laughed. Her jade-like finger landed on Fu Yi as she angrily said, "I'll definitely tell senior brother Fu Yi about what happened today." "Fu Yi, as a Dharma master, you're actually greedy for such petty love. We're all heartless people. What does it have to do with you?" Su Yi said faintly. Then, Fu Yi glanced at Su Yi. An undetectable anger flashed in his eyes as he said softly, "What does it have to do with you? You. Yin Chani was so angry that she was trembling. Her face turned from red to black as she said softly, "Since you're so frivolous, why did you pretend to be so cold back then? Fu Yi, you really think too highly of yourself." This time, it was Su Yi's turn to look at Fu Yi. His gaze was complicated. It seemed like his little aunt was also someone with a story. "You're wrong. I've never played with anyone. Moreover, I rejected him. What does it have to do with you? Didn't he not like you in the end?" Fu Yi said softly. Yin Chani was so angry that she clenched her fist tightly. In the end, she exploded. With a shout, the surging vital qi condensed into a huge energy beam. An ancient and ferocious aura surged forth. "This woman is crazy." Su Yi was speechless. "Step back. This is between me and her." Fu Yi pushed Su Yi lightly, and Su Yi landed 100 meters away. Coincidentally, Su Yi landed in front of Little Handsome Su. Little Handsome called out softly, "Boss, over here." He turned around and saw Little Handsome Su and the others. He said softly, "Are you guys here to watch the show? Master Su Yi, come in and talk." Feng Kuang Yiji said in a low voice. Su Yi immediately looked at the battle and shook his head. His eyes were filled with battle intent. "No, damn it, this woman bullied my little aunt. This woman is asking for a beating." Bang, bang. As soon as he finished speaking, Su Yi bent his knees and shot out like an arrow. The mysterious rune between his eyebrows flowed, and his voice shook the heavens. "Little aunt?" Feng Kuang Yiji thought he had heard wrong. He looked at Little Handsome Su with a complicated expression. Little Handsome Su's face was also filled with black lines. Bang, bang. On the battlefield, Yin Chani and Fu Yi attacked fiercely again. The void exploded continuously, and a terrifying aura filled the air. In Su Yi's eyes, the battle between Origin Sky Realm cultivators was absolutely terrifying. Standing at the side, Su Yi was mostly watching. Suddenly, Su Yi saw Yin Chani being locked onto by Fu Ye's light. Without hesitation, Su Yi shouted, Chapter 2490. Honger, there's good food. Come out. Okay. Hong replied. In the blink of an eye, a ray of light shot out from Su Yi's chest. The blood devil killing god sword was tightly gripped by Su Yi, and a violent explosion was heard out of nowhere. GG. The blood phoenix spread its wings and flew. The energy in its golden eyes surged, and a huge pressure exploded towards the tightly bound Yun Chani. Chila. Yun Chani caught on fire, and the flames on her back turned into the shape of a phoenix. Seeing this, Fu Ye's expression changed slightly. He twisted his body and retreated lightly. Yun Chani spun on the spot. She thought it was just a normal fire, but who knew that the flames on her back would burn even more fiercely? Yun Chani spent a lot of effort to extinguish the flames. At the same time that Yun Chani was extinguishing the flames, Su Yi used the rising Yao's 100 changing steps. The blood demon killing god sword landed on Yun Chani's back, legs, and the middle part of her body. Who asked you to say that venerable Fu Yi is licentious? Hit. Who asked you to compare yourself with venerable Fu Yi? Hit. Who asked you to find trouble with venerable Fu Yi every day? Hit even more. Pa pa pa. 3 crisp sounds rang out. Yun Chani, who was humiliated and beaten in public, was furious, but she couldn't do anything. She could only scream. Seeing that Su Yi was standing up for her, Fu Ye's eyes flickered. He couldn't help but laugh. After the flames were extinguished, Su Yi also returned to Fu Ye's side. He looked like he had finished his work. Yun Chani looked at Su Yi and Fu Yi with red eyes. Today, she had really suffered a double loss. Her back was burned, and her body was exposed. She could only look at Fu Yi like this. Brat, what's your name? Yun Chani asked coldly. Su Yi curled his lips and swung the blood demon, slaying god sword half a circle in front of him before stabbing it heavily into the ground. I'm Su Yi. Fu Yi turned around. Su Yi nodded, indicating that he didn't need to worry. Su Yi, good. I will remember it. Yun Chani coldly snorted, then turned into a ball of beautiful light and disappeared. Yun Chani's voice was cold inside the rippling space. Fu Yi, protect your little lover. Don't let me kill you. After confirming that Yun Chani had left, the 4 of them burst into laughter. Su Xiaoshui and Su Tianke happened to be right behind Yun Chani. They had seen everything they shouldn't have seen. Looking at handsome Su, who was lying on the ground laughing so hard, Su Yi couldn't help but laugh as well. Auntie, don't you know why she left upside down? Fu Yi shook his head as the corners of his mouth curled up slightly. He then said, she's the domain master of the illusory demon star zone. Are you really not afraid? Su Yi laughed so hard that his body trembled. Then, he said seriously, if it was the divine star region or the extreme happiness star region, I would be worried. But the illusory demon star region is nothing to be afraid of. Fu Yi looked at little handsome Su with a calm face. It was as if this 3rd star sector was just an ordinary sect in their eyes. This little nephew of his was really strange. To have such terrifying battle strength at such a young age. The things he had experienced were probably unimaginable for ordinary people. Let's go. Take me to see the realm of the gods. Fu Yi turned around. Okay. After laughing enough, Su Yi calmed down and immediately let little handsome Su lead the way. The few of them crossed over mountains and valleys. Along the way, there were desolate places. The deep purple space was filled with ghostly howls that made one's heart tremble. On the uneven surface, there was a bleak feeling everywhere. It was easy to imagine how much damage the immemorial calamity had caused. 2 hours later, the few of them stood on top of a mountain. Little handsome Su pointed at a strange arc of lightning in the sky. In the whistling wind and thunder, the deep purple arc of lightning moved like a python, hiding an endless amount of ferocious energy. Boom! Everyone looked at the arc of lightning in the sky. It was as if it was surging in the vast universe. In the dark and deep sea of stars, everyone was quietly sensing this ferocious, nameless energy. On the scene, only Fu Yi and Feng Kuang Yijian did not sense anything. They turned to look at Su Yi, little handsome Su Tianke, and Ling Lanin as if they had an epiphany. Fu Yi frowned slightly, and Feng Kuang Yijian was even more confused. Region leader Feng Kuang, do you know the background of these three people? Fu Yi gently called region leader Feng Kuang aside and asked about the relationship between little handsome Su and Su Tianke. Hearing Su Yi call Fu Yi Annie, Feng Kuang Yijian immediately told him everything. I'm not sure either. I only know that he and Lord Su Yi came from the same place. It seems that even at such a young age, he's not an ordinary person. Fu Yi frowned. From the heavenly barbarian territory? Thinking back, when he entered the heavenly barbarian region, there were always a few hidden powerful auras of divine beasts. At that time, he did not pay much attention to them because he wanted to take his sister away. Now, Su Yi not only had the golden dragon talent, but also the phoenix bloodline. Little handsome Su also had extraordinary fire energy. It seemed that little handsome Su and Su Tianke had the bloodline of divine beasts without a doubt. However, why would the divine beasts recognize Su Yi as their boss? This is interesting. Fu Ye's moon eyes twitched as she nodded. Whoosh whoosh. At that moment, Su Yi and the other three were already floating in the sky. The four of them floated toward the long, python-like purple light at the same time. In an instant, the dazzling light enveloped the four of them. The four of them, who were like boulders, had a surging aura in the sky. Immediately, Feng Kuang Yijian and Fu Ye's minds had an intense soul fluctuation. How? Ling Lanin's aura was the first to disperse. The gigantic nine spirits' heavenly cat's true form was entrenched in the sky. Its gigantic demon claws stretched across the sky, looking mighty. Squeak, squeak. Soon, Su Tianke transformed into his gigantic true form. The reddish-gold peacock's silhouette covered the entire sky, illuminating the space with a fiery red glow. Celestial demon heavens, Dharma, emptiness. Nine spirits, heavenly cat. Feng Kuang Yijian was already extremely shocked when he saw Ling Lanin's true form. When he looked at the peacock, his eyeballs almost fell to the ground. There's actually such an ancient beast in this world. At that moment, intense demonic aura reverberated throughout the sky. Demonic aura surged between the sky and earth. Above the firmament, the sun and the moon appeared at the same time, and the stars rotated. When you came to explore just now, didn't they have any strange symptoms? Fu Ye's eyes were trembling as he asked softly. Feng Kuang Yijian's heart tightened, and he almost jumped out. Turning around, his face turned pale. Feng Kuang Yijian's heart palpitated as he said, "No, the three of you only felt something strange. There shouldn't be such a horrifying reaction. Oh my God, Peacock True God and Spiritual Cat True God." Feng Kuang Yijian's eyes shone with excitement. As soon as he finished speaking, the wind howled above the sky. An even larger divine bird shadow, which was large enough to cover half of the star region, appeared in the human world. The earth rumbled, and thunder rumbled in the sky. As if something had been awakened, a sharp shriek roared from the depths of the void. Chapter 2491. It was as if thousands of soldiers and horses were galloping, and the phoenix was soaring in the sky. The bright and dazzling divine light illuminated the entire land, and the purifying flames were enough to devour everything in the world. Gee! Looking at the divine beast in the sky, Feng Kuang instantly retreated 100 meters, and so did Venerable Fu Yi. With the birth of the phoenix, the terrifying energy between heaven and earth rose to a whole new level. Even a venerable like Fu Yi could feel that Feng Kuang's sword was irresistible. Amidst the raging flames, the two origin sky stage cultivators' legs began to tremble slightly. Thunder rumbled in the sky, and Fu Ye's face was filled with shock. Phoenix. This fat kid is actually a phoenix. Fu Yi was speechless. Feng Kuang unsheathed his long sword and held it in front of him. and his face began to distort. The scene in front of him was definitely rare. No wonder young Marshal Xiao Shui would say such bold words. At this moment, Feng Kuang's sword was incomparably carefree, and his emotions were surging. The phoenix, true god, the beast of all birds, was one of the strongest existences in the realm of the gods. Little Commander said that he would leave the blood sword sacred palace to him, and now it seemed that it was not a lie. Thinking that Little Commander was going to take Feng Yun and Feng Yu as his followers, Feng Kuang was even more excited. If it wasn't for the wind, he would have been grinning from ear to ear. Venerable Fu Yi, look, this is definitely a big clue about the realm of the gods. Feng Kuang laughed loudly. Fu Yi nodded, and his gaze moved from Little Commander Su to Su Yi, and his eyes were filled with emotions. Compared to the terror of the three ancient beasts, he was more surprised by Su Yi. This little nephew of his could make three ancient beasts submit to him wholeheartedly, and he had many talents. Who was he? At this moment, Fu Yi tried his best to calm down, and the three ancient beasts in the sky gradually disappeared. Bang! With three dull thuds, little handsome Su and the others turned into three balls of fire and fell from the sky, as if they had lost their vital energy supply. Boom, boom, boom. An earth-shattering explosion resounded, and three deep pits appeared out of thin air. The ancient aura fell on the Chaos Demon Starfield, and a huge cloud of dust was raised. At this moment, the energy began to fluctuate, and three figures staggered out of the smoke. Little Marshal, Feng Kuang's sword, was terrified and immediately rushed forward. The three of them were heavily injured. Although they weren't fatal, they were still in a sorry state. Handsome Su's eyes darkened as he said, Boss's aunt, Boss is thinking about the realm of the gods. Hurry up and protect him. After saying this, Handsome Su fainted. In an instant, Feng Kuang's sword and Fu Yi looked up into the sky. An even more boundless light surged in the air. Golden dragons circled in the sky. Divine birds spread their wings, and tens of thousands of demonic beasts roared in the mystical light. It was as if they were in a desolate world. Roar! At this moment, Su Yi was enveloped in a mystical light. Within the huge aura, an endless amount of desolate and barbaric aura surged out. Oh my God, are these ancient beasts? Is this the scene of the realm of gods? Fu Yi asked. His aura began to soar continuously. An endless demonic chi swept through the heavens and earth. Tens of thousands of beasts galloped, and it was as if a shocking wave had been set off in midair. In an instant, the vortex did not stop, and the terrifying light spread endlessly. Venerable Fu Yi, please protect Master Su Yi. Feng Kuang's sword had already begun to heal handsome Su and the others. Standing in the air, Su Yi, who was in the middle of the light vortex, had a faint black rune appear between his eyebrows. Then, an earth-shattering amount of black chi gushed out, and the heavens and earth were in chaos. As the black chi gushed out, Su Yi's aura began to change again. There was a kind of aura that was like a king descending upon the heavens and earth. This aura made people's hearts tremble for no reason. It made people want to submit to it just by looking at it. Su Yi, who are you? Was this the heavenly barbarian brat that when Fu and Su Jingyuan gave birth to? How could such a weak and backward star field cultivate such a terrifying celestial and demon at the same time? Although demonic chi was not rare in the entire star field, and divine beast talents were also not rare, Su Yi was definitely the only one who could gather all of them into one body. The perfect combination of human, demon, and monster. What kind of extraordinary talent was this? Fu Ye's eyes trembled as he looked at the terrifying energy around Su Yi's body. He was speechless, and his heart was already filled with shock. If it was him, the realm of the gods might really be avoided. His sisters and his own fate could be changed. The corner of Fu Ye's mouth moved slightly, and there was actually some longing in his heart. Suddenly, Fu Ye's eyes moved, and he exclaimed, "This is..." A huge explosion sounded around Su Yi, and a powerful and terrifying aura surged in the air, and monstrous flames condensed in the air. Suddenly, the energy of heaven and earth gathered, as if an ancient calamity was happening again, and a huge storm exploded in front of Su-yi. Retreat! Fu Ye's eyebrows flickered, and he used all of his Origin Sky Stage 6 energy to block this terrifying attack. The space was silent, and time and space were reversed. Everything fell into an endless pause. Bang! The sky full of light turned into a huge dragon, and Fu Yi also fell to the ground. Beep, beep, beep. Su-yi felt like he had a very long dream, and when he opened his eyes again, the huge purple lightning arc in the deep starry sky was still there. You're awake? A watery gaze slowly shot over, and it was the glaze-like venerable Fu Yi, who was graceful like a fairy. Sitting up, Su-yi looked at Fu Yi, who was slowly walking over. Suddenly, a fragrant wind blew, and it was unknown if her hairpin was broken by the collision or something else. She was walking towards him, and her beautiful hair was scattered from her shoulders and neck, like a mountain stream pouring down. And, at this moment, he already knew that Fu Yi was his little aunt, and Su-yi only felt that it was impossible for there to be such a beautiful woman. Hiss. Su-yi only felt that his internal organs were about to be torn apart. He took a deep breath, took out a bottle of spirit liquid, and drank it. Only after that did he feel slightly better. Seeing Su-yi take out the spirit liquid, Fu Ye's deep eyes also showed a trace of shock. Ho! In the distance, Su Xiaoshui, Su Tianke, and the others were healing their injuries. Seeing Su-yi wake up, Fengquang Yijian immediately rushed over. Lord Su-yi, how are you feeling? Fengquang Yijian was incomparably nervous. Immediately, Su-yi's lips curled up slightly. Other than the physical pain from the explosion, there were no major injuries. This is indeed the place that leads to the realm of the gods. The immemorial great calamity should also have happened here. Su-yi looked at the violent lightning in the sky, and his eyes flashed. Hearing this, Fu Yi and Fengquang Yijian's hearts instantly sped up. Realm of the gods, this is the realm of the gods. The realm of the gods that millions of people in the myriad star fields couldn't find was actually found by this young man in front of them. Then were you preparing to go in just now? Fu Yi bent down and looked at Su-yi seriously. Chapter 2492. Su-yi nodded and licked his dry lips. I tried to enter, but I saw many scenes. Before the immemorial calamity happened, the realm of the gods was filled with killing. The immemorial calamity only happened after that, and it was triggered by one person. The immemorial calamity was controlled by someone. In an instant, the three of them trembled at the same time. This news could be said to be earth-shattering. Continue. Fu Yi frowned, not daring to disturb Su-yi. Su-yi took a deep breath. Whether it was controlled by someone or not, I can't tell for now. But I can be sure that the second immemorial calamity can be avoided. It can be avoided. The three of them fell into deep thought. When Fu Yi asked if there was anything else, Su-yi shook his head and looked up at the lightning python crack that was still floating in the sky. He knew that with his current cultivation, he naturally couldn't enter. Then, Fu Yi squatted down and looked at his little nephew. You can't tell this to anyone else. Our cooperation begins now. Then I can go to the Law Controller Conference. Su-yi was surprised. Fu Yi nodded, but he raised his eyebrows and gently tapped Su-yi's forehead. He said softly, "This is a clue about the realm of the gods that I found. If it's useful, you can go and search for it. Cultivate well. The Law Controller Conference isn't a ceremony to kill you." After saying this, Fu Yi spread out a faint light, and energy ripples surged. He disappeared from the Chaos Demon Star Zone. Lord Su, what message did Fu Yi leave for you? The corner of his mouth curled up. Su-yi, who had 2 types of heaven-suppressing stone, immediately sensed that the clue Fu Yi gave was extraordinary. It was information about the heaven-suppressing stone. His little aunt wouldn't understand the importance of this information. Then he looked at Fengquang and said in a low voice, Is there a fighting horn tribe? Yes, but this place is in the illusory demon star zone. Yin Chani was just... Feng Kuang didn't finish his sentence. Her eyes turned. Illusory demon star zone? Su Yi's heart trembled. He said softly, when Lil Handsome wakes up, we'll go to the illusory demon star zone. After a while, Little Handsome and the others woke up. Like Su Yi, they also experienced the same scene. Boss, so he swept through the realm of the gods for you. Little Handsome Su was excited. Sui nodded and rubbed his chin. He was a little confused. Actually, there's something I haven't told Andy. What? Everyone immediately surrounded him. In my memory, there was a woman. In the end, she was the one who controlled the great ancient calamity. Great God Yuluo? Little Commander said, faintly. He shook his head. His memories earlier were too blurry, but he was sure of one thing. The supreme ancient calamity could be avoided. What he needed to do now was to raise his cultivation, stop the primordial calamity, and bring his mother and Yunjing home. Go! Go and take a look at the little girl whose phoenix was carved by you. Blissful Star Zone. In a vast and serene hall, a devilishly handsome man was lingering in the hall. His eyebrows were furrowed, and his red lips were pursed as if something was bothering him. Looking at this man carefully, his face was like a sculpture. His eyes were like peach blossoms. Anyone who looked at him for a long time would be mesmerized. After taking a few steps, the man quickly walked into a spatial vortex. The dark purple spatial vortex spun rapidly, and a voice came from it. That person is coming back. Lord Divine Realm, didn't that man die long ago? A gloomy voice came from the vortex. Demon Emperor, do you think that man will die so easily? If it wasn't for that stupid woman Yuluo, I wouldn't have died. He seemed to have fallen into my trap and died in the great ancient calamity, but I knew he wasn't so simple. The man raised his eyebrows, and there was shock in his eyes. Lord Divine Realm, how did you find out that the Demon Emperor is coming back? His reincarnation found the entrance to the great ancient calamity and tried to enter the realm of the gods. Reincarnation? Who is it? The man asked. The one called Lord Divine Realm said with a gloomy and hoarse voice. Shouldn't you be clear about this? Nanku, time is running out. The third great ancient calamity is coming. Prepare the sacrificial offerings. With the wood heaven suppressing stone, I will reappear in the world. The realm of the gods will also reopen. Nanku was excited, but when he thought about the sacrificial offerings, his mouth trembled, and he retreated. Then the man left the hall. Would heaven suppressing stone, realm of the gods, Yunjing and Wenfu, since you don't want to follow me, then help me ascend to the realm of the gods. Nanku smiled. Divine Star Zone. The heavily injured Yin Chani looked at honored Fei angrily and roared. Senior brother Fei, Fei made such a mistake. Divine Star Zone is the most law-abiding of the 3 star zones. Shouldn't you do something about it? Honored Fei's threads of 7 emotions and 6 desires were extracted. How could he have a lover? Fei's eyes twitched as he looked at Yin Chani. How dare you deny it? Yin Chani tore off her clothes, revealing an exquisitely carved phoenix on her back. Fei's face turned red, and a gust of wind blew Yin Chani's clothes away. Junior Sister Chani, our Divine Star Zone doesn't get close to women. There are only laws. What are you doing? Yin Chani pouted, twisted her snake-like waist, and snorted. So, Senior Brother Fei believes it? After a while, Fei closed his eyes and shook his head. Honored Fei, how could you do this? I still don't believe it. But you, what about me? Yin Chani rolled her eyes. Do you think I could do what Fei can't? Fei immediately waved his hand and said, That's not what I meant. Then what do you mean? The Law Controller Conference is coming. Senior Brother, you must expose this woman in front of everyone. She was the one who bewitched Regent Lord Nanku back then. Fei sighed. Women were really troublesome. He was a little angry. Junior Sister Chani, the 3 of us are all law controllers. Why we have to keep harping on what happened back then? If it wasn't for her, He recalled Fei's words. Back then, Nanku was deeply in love with Fei, but Fei wasn't moved. For some reason, she became a law controller. She tried all kinds of ways to get close to Nanku, but she was ignored by him. Jealousy was a woman's fire seed. Yin Chani and Phi's entanglement had lasted until now. Phi was right. Even if Phi didn't reject Nanku, Nanku wouldn't like Chani. However, as a beautiful woman who didn't lose to Phi in the Star Zone, Yin Chani would never admit defeat. Senior brother, you're wrong. It's not that I'm harping on what happened. It's that someone has feelings for me. Chapter 2493. Faye stood up abruptly. Yin Chani was pushed back 2 steps by Faye's strong muscles. Senior brother, what are you doing? Yin Chani's voice lowered. Feeling Faye's anger, Yin Chani frowned. Faye snorted and waved his hand. I know. The Law Controller Conference is very important. I know what to do. You go back first. Yin Chani pouted and said, since that's the case, I hope senior brother won't disappoint me. I also hope junior sister won't disappoint me. Faye said coldly. Senior brother, what do you mean? Yin Chani asked. Faye turned around and his wide sleeves rippled. He said, if you don't want people to know, don't do it in the first place. You fought with Fu Yi in a fit of pique. She became the law controller, so you became the law controller. But you only pulled out half of your 7 emotions and 6 desires. How can I not know? If you think Nanku will come back to you, and you can go back to him at any time, don't even think about it. Once you're a law controller, you'll be a law controller forever. In terms of feelings, she had to compete with Fu Yi. Even when she saw him become a Dharma master, she had to compete. Just be yourself. Yin Chani's eyes overflowed with tears. She said, Senior brother, what do you know? I just can't accept it. Why does the myriad star field have 1 less when Fu and 1 more when Fu Yi? How am I worse than her? I don't understand. You're all helping her. You're all willing to help her. Yin Chani's voice trembled. She turned and left. After he finished speaking, his origin chi gushed out violently, and a resplendent radiance floated in the air before he disappeared. Senior brother, I just can't accept it. In the sky, a sobbing voice slowly floated down. AI. Faye sat down and put his palms together. Faye murmured, stubborn man, if it weren't for your kind heart, I would have already told everyone about you. I hope you can free yourself. Faye shook his head and sighed heavily. Then, he walked towards the inner court, somewhere in the Elysium starfield. Fu Yi came to the stone door again. Sister, the Dharma Controller Conference is about to begin. Will that girl and I still be sent to the lawmaker assembly by you? A weak female voice came from behind the stone door. After thinking for a while, Fu Ye's voice was no longer as cold as before. When Fu, after so many years, I just want you to say sorry. Is it so difficult? A sigh came from behind the stone door and a faint voice said, Year, I have long since buried these matters in my heart. I don't want to bring them up again. I have no complaints about my own choice. However, Nang forcing you to become a Dharma wielder was not something I wanted. Sister, it's all my fault. I'm sorry. Can you forgive me? When Fu's trembling voice was pitiful. Her words were filled with guilt towards her younger sister. When Fu Yi. No, our family originally belonged to the line of the elder by the domain lord's side. It's you. The one with the greatest hope of becoming a Dharma master in our generation was originally you. The Dharma wielder's threads of 7 emotions and 6 desires would be extracted, so you weren't willing. In order to find true love, you broke free from the shackles and searched the world for the wood suppression heavenly stone. The fate of becoming a Dharma master fell on my head. A heavy sigh came from behind the stone door. She said in a low voice, Sister, you don't know. I went through so much trouble to find the wood suppression heavenly stone. I thought I could escape the fate of the tribunal. However, the wood suppression heavenly stone had already recognized me as its master. Nank wanted to marry me. I could only escape. It was there that I met Jing Yuan. However, I didn't expect you to become a Dharma master in the end. You don't know? Then let me tell you. Once you left, my entire family was forced by Nank. I could only look for you all over the world. When I brought you back, you didn't have the wood suppression heavenly stone or your chastity. Nank wanted to kill you and your parents. What could I do? Marry Nank? Impossible. Nank forced me to make a choice. I could only become a Dharma master and promise to find the wood suppression heavenly stone within 30 years. Sister, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. However, you can't let that girl die. When Fu cried, in Fu Ye's heart, many things that she should not bear fell on her own head. Did she love her sister? Of course, she loved her sister. However, Fu Ye had suffered too much. She should not have suffered too much. I promised you that I wouldn't kill Su Jingyuan's entire family. If I sent Yinjing to Nank, you can be released. I don't need to be a Dharma master anymore, Fu Yi said coldly. Suddenly, when Fu knocked on the stone door, she said in a trembling voice, "How do you know she's called Yunjing?" When Fu Yi turned around, her beautiful face was cold. She said softly, "Not only do I know she's called Yunjing, I also know who her husband is." Husband? Her husband is your son, my little nephew, Su Yi, Su Jingyuan's son. When Fu called the name that she had thought of thousands of times in her heart, she broke down instantly and cried loudly. Sister, I'm sorry. You can't kill Jing. Your has been pitiful since he was young. You can't let him experience life and death. Fu Yi looked inside the stone door, seeing her sister break down like this. How could Fu Yi not feel pain in her heart? But compared to the decades of her life, Fu Yi felt that her sister owed her. Don't worry. He's much stronger than you think. Much stronger than you were back then. Suddenly, the crying stopped. When Fu's trembling voice was mixed with surprise. You've seen ya? You've seen ya? Take care of yourself. Once Yunjing is handed over to the Dharma Master Conference, you and I will be free. Fu Yi walked out with her long legs. Sister. Fu Yi stopped again. Do you know why Nank wants to marry me? You know he likes you. Fu Yi stopped and listened to her sister quietly. He wants to marry me. I found out that he wants to take the energy of the wood suppression heavenly stone. If it's really to save the starfield, I can die without regrets. But it's not like that. He must want to open the realm of the gods. He has his wild ambitions. Even if it's not for me, you can't help the evildoer. Instantly, Fu Ye's eyes widened. All these years, she had been obsessed with freeing her sister so that she could take back the threads of 7 emotions and 6 desires. She had never thought about these things. Once she caught Yunjing, she handed her over to Nank. Although Nank said that he would hand over Yunjing at the Dharma Master Conference, there was no movement. Could it be that Nank really liked Yunjing? Maybe Nank really did have a huge conspiracy. Now that the immemorial catastrophe was coming and the realm of the gods had been found, would it save her or the entire starfield? Chapter 2494. Working hard to update. Please refresh later. This chapter is working hard to update G. Please refresh later. Handsome guy and beautiful girl. Can you register as a member first? Register as a member and use the bookmark function on the bookshelf. If this chapter is about the author asking for votes, please skip it and continue reading the next chapter. Please save this page first so that you can read it later. Otherwise, you won't be able to find this chapter later. God, hot book. I'm not Z Super War God in the City. Protagonist. Lin Bei Suwan. Super War God in the City full text. 268268330. Content summary. 5 years ago, he was framed and sent to prison. 5 years later, he returned with glory and all the power in the world in his hands. I will take back what I lost 1,000 times over. Super War God in the City full text. 332682683330 Chapter 1. Return with glory Zhongbei Province, Qingzhou City. Airport. Lin Bei walked down from his private plane in a pair of special black combat boots. His figure was tall and straight, and his eyes were like stars. However, his face was a little pale. The person who greeted Lin Bei was a young woman in a black uniform. She looked valiant and formidable. 32682683330. Even though she was in a standard uniform, it could not hide her curvaceous figure. Instead, it added a different kind of seduction. However, Lin Bei did not seem to notice the beautiful scenery in front of him. Instead, he was lost in thought. Vermilion Bird, what's the result of the investigation that I asked you to do? 5 years ago, he was young and promising. At the age of 20, he founded the Beijing Corporation and became a dark horse among the enterprises in Qingzhou. His market value kept increasing. However, when he was in high spirits and prepared to go public, he was framed by his partner. The company's vice president, Tang Qingzhu, drugged him and accused him of rape. Many media reporters even took pictures of it. However, at that time, the drug took effect and he was delirious. After running away, he vaguely felt that he was saved by a woman. He, who had already lost his mind, had sex with that woman. That was how he was saved. However, when he woke up, he was already in prison. He did not even know who the other party was. After a month in prison, he was selected to join a mysterious force and began his 5-year military career. For 5 years, he was constantly on the battlefield and could not free himself from it. Until today, success and retirement. Returning from retirement. This was a knot in his heart. Hearing this, the vermilion bird immediately gave a standard salute, reporting to the heavenly policy there are already some clues. At the latest, there will definitely be a result by tonight. Her clear voice was filled with admiration, respect, and fear. All right. Hearing this, Lin Bei's body trembled. Finally, there was a trace of emotion on his cold face. However, he immediately started coughing violently. Zhu Ke hurriedly took out a white silk handkerchief and handed it to Lin Bei. Tiansu, are you all right? Her valiant face was filled with worry. If it wasn't for that battle a month ago, this godlike man in front of her wouldn't have been injured so badly. However, it was also that battle that allowed this man to completely ascend to godhood. Then, at the peak of his career, he retired in glory and took charge of the most mysterious organization in Huan Nation, the Heavenly Strategies, obtaining the title of Feng Tian Su. The two words heavenly policy were not only a name, but also a supreme honor and a belief. Lin Tian Su was a living legend. It was also because of this that Lin Bei no longer needed to oversee the northern region after he retired from the position of commander-in-chief of the northern region. That was why he had time to return to Qingzhou. I'm fine. Lin Bei coughed again and removed the handkerchief. The handkerchief was covered in bright red, but he acted as if he didn't see it. Filial piety is the most important virtue of all. The figure of his family appeared in Lin Bei's mind. Wait for me to change my clothes, then send me to the Lin family first. Then he took the lead and walked out of the airport. The vermilion bird followed him respectfully. Qingzhou, I'm back. There would be an end to all the grudges and grievances. Outside, an old residential area, Lin Bei stopped in his tracks. The Lin family had been very kind to him, especially his adoptive father, Lin Anghua, who had adopted him for the orphanage and treated him like his own son. Even when he had his biological daughter, Lin Nan, later on his love for him had never diminished. His adoptive father, Lin Anghua, had said more than once that when he and Lin Nan grew up, they would get married. One should not let one's own fertile water flow to another's fields. Lin Nan had been very close to Lin Bei since they were young, like a shadow. Lin Bei knew exactly how many moles Lin Nan had on her body and where they were. If he had not been framed and sent to prison, he might have been married to Lin Nan by now. Thinking of this, Lin Bei smiled bitterly. Now, with the passage of time, he was no longer the young and promising entrepreneur. In the eyes of outsiders, he was just a rapist who had been in prison. He was afraid that many people and many things had already changed. Things had remained the same, but people had changed. Soon, Lin Bei tossed these thoughts out of his mind. He stepped into the residential area. Even though he had not been back for 5 years, Lin Bei still found his way to the Lin family with familiarity. 5 years of bloody life had made Lin Bei develop the habit of not smiling. He was imposing without anger. When he arrived at the door, Lin Bei thought for a moment. Suddenly, a warm smile appeared on his face. The all-powerful aura on his body slowly disappeared, and he looked like an ordinary boy next door. However, there was a trace of paleness on his face. He looked a little sick. 33268268330. Then he knocked on the door. Not long after, the door was opened. Who is it? A middle-aged woman appeared in front of Lin Bei with a bright smile on her face. But soon, the smile on her face gradually froze. You are Lin Bei. The middle-aged woman's face showed a look of disbelief. Mom! Lin Bei cried out. Don't call me Mom. I don't have a son like you. The middle-aged woman's face suddenly turned cold. There was a criminal in the family who raped a woman. In the past few years, they had been pointed at and gossiped about. Shuhua, who's here? He's a guest. Hurry up and welcome him in for a meal. At this time, a man with gray hair and holding a pipe appeared in front of Lin Bei. After seeing him, Lin Bei trembled. Dad, don't smoke so much. Don't take your health lightly. Lin Bei said, 332682683330. There was a trace of imperceptible tremor in his voice. Lil Bei. Lin Onghua stopped smoking as if he couldn't believe it. He pinched himself hard on the arm, probably because he felt the pain. He looked Lin Bei up and down and said excitedly, Xiao Bei, you're finally back. Where have you been all these years? Back then, everyone else said that Lin Bei was sentenced for attempted rape, but Lin Onghua did not believe it. But since Lin Bei was sent to prison, there had been no news from him. He wanted to visit him, but he could not find the place or the person. Dad, it's a long story. Lin Bei's expression was complicated. It's okay, it's okay. It's good that you're back. We'll talk about it in the future. There's plenty of time. Lin Ongwa's eyes were slightly red, and he looked emotional. Why are you blocking the door? Hurry up and let Lil Bei in. Then, Lin Onghua realized that Lin Bei was still outside the door. Today is such an important day. You should give way, Chen Shuhua said in a low voice. Then, she looked at Lin Bei and said, Lin Bei, since you're back, 1 or 2 days won't matter. Why don't you come back tomorrow? Lin Bei was speechless. For a moment, he did not know whether to enter or not. What are you talking about? Lin Ongwa's face turned cold instantly. Lil Bei, don't stand outside the door. Come in quickly. With that, Lin Onghua wanted to pull Lin Bei in. Although Chen Shuhua did not look too good, she still made way for Lin Bei to enter the house. After entering the house, Lin Bei then noticed that there were many people in the house. Most of them were familiar faces. They were relatives of the Lin family. Besides them, there was also a handsome young man with an extraordinary aura. At one glance, one could tell that he was from a wealthy family. He was surrounded by a group of relatives. Yuza, in the future, our Nan will have to depend on you to take care of her. Nan, this child, has been spoiled by her parents since she was young. If she's willful in any way, please bear with her. Of course, if she's being unreasonable, let us know. We'll teach her a lesson. A few enter talking at the same time. 332682683330 younger Annie. What are you talking about? I'm not being willful or unreasonable. Next to the young man, a woman with a ponytail and a curvy figure who was exquisitely dressed was blinking her eyes playfully. Yes, younger Annie, Nan is very sensible. I also guarantee that when Nan marries me in the future, I'll dote on her like a little princess. The nanny will take care of all the things at home. She only needs to be concerned with shopping, having fun, and being pampered by me. She doesn't need to think about anything else. As the young man said this, he looked at his relatives with a gentlemanly smile. However, deep in his eyes, he was somewhat impatient with these vulgar aunts. You're right. We've worried too much. Nan will be marrying into a wealthy family and enjoying life when she marries you. Yuza, the younger Annie quickly said, unable to conceal the envy in her eyes. At this moment, Lin Onghua pulled Lin Bei along and walked over. She saw that there was another person behind Lin Onghua. Lin Nan was a little curious. Dad, is your friend here? Lin Nan asked. However, at the next moment, when she saw who it was, Lin Nan's smiling eyes froze on the spot. There was a moment of panic in her heart. She moved closer to Li Yu's delicate body and subconsciously wanted to move to the side. Nan, long time no see. Lin Bei smiled. However, the panic in her heart disappeared in an instant. Lin Nan's face suddenly turned cold. When were you released from prison? Super God of War in the city. 3? 326-826-8330. Chapter 2495. Are you tired? No, let's not be law controller anymore. Runyang will make demon beast nourishing soup for you every day. Lu Ru's expression became serious as she caressed the phoenix under Yun Chani's veil. Although demon beasts were strong, they were still injured. The phoenix and peacock's terrifying flames especially made Yun Chani feel uncomfortable. Little E, what happened? Who bullied you? Lu Ru felt blood flowing out and immediately screamed. Hearing this, Yun Chani hurriedly put on her clothes, wiped her tears, and pursed her lips. Runyang is fine. Ear was hurt outside. It's not a big deal. I'll be fine soon. As she spoke, Yun Chani picked up the spirit wine Lu Ru brought and took small sips. She closed her eyes slightly and was extremely intoxicated. Runyang, it's delicious. I love drinking spirit wine made by Runyang the most. You little girl, you're officially the illusory demon realm's empress and a star region law controller. Why are you still acting like a child in front of Runyang? Lu Ru crossed her arms and sat down, shaking her head with a smile. After drinking the spirit wine, Yun Chani smacked her lips and smiled like a flower. Runyang watched Ear grow up. After father and mother passed away, Runyang is Ear's mother. How can I hide anything in front of mother? You. 70 years ago, the illusory demon emperor and the empress passed away. You were so lonely at such a young age. If Runyang doesn't love you more, I'm afraid no one in this world will. Runyang lovingly caressed Yun Chani's tender hand, her eyes full of heartache. Everyone thinks that I like that pervert Nank, but I actually want to find the truth behind father and mother's death. The more Nank chased after the one's sisters and distanced himself from me, the more I want to find out what Nank is doing. Yun Chani sat down. The phoenix fire tattoo on her back was still faintly hurting, and the corner of her mouth twitched slightly. Little E, are you sure that Region Lord Nank is the mastermind behind the illusory demon emperor's death? Lu Ru still didn't believe it. Bang! A burst of energy suddenly exploded, and a dazzling, colorful light turned into a wave of energy that smashed the wooden table in front of her. 70 years ago, after father and mother returned from the Law Controller Conference, they passed away soon after. Fei's master was even more impartial and strict than Fei, so there was no doubt about it. In the end, Nanku still had the final say in the Elysium Starfield. If it wasn't Nank's doing, then I, Yun Chani, will write my name backwards. As Yun Chani stared at the beast-shaped crystal engraved on the wall, a bleak killing intent suddenly filled the air. Her charming face became even colder. This which actually has such a background. Then I've wronged her. He narrowed his eyes and listened attentively, but there was an invisible sense of guilt in his heart. At this moment, Lu Ru stood up and intimately caressed Yun Chani's face. She said softly, Sai, you're still young, but Runyang is already old. If only I had a man by my side to help me. Age. For these super experts who had already reached the Origin Sky realm, their average lifespan would be a few hundred years, let alone a demonic beast like Yun Chani. Yun Chani was about the same age as Sui. Yun Chani nodded faintly, and a trace of yearning appeared in the depths of her eyes. She said softly, Runyang, don't worry. Back then, pretended to be angry with Wenfei and went to become a lawkeeper, but in reality, I went to investigate the truth. That's why only at half of her 7 emotions and 6 desires threads extracted. Really? You never told Runyang about this? Runyang cried tears of joy. She tightly pursed her lips, and a trace of comfort appeared on her pale yellow face. Sigh. Yun Chani nodded. After all, becoming a lawkeeper is a matter of severing all emotions and desires. I'm not that stupid. All the people in the Lawkeeper Hall will have their 7 emotions and 6 desires threads extracted. All of them are in the Elysium Starfield, and they're all under the watch of the 3 area masters. I also don't want to be controlled by Nanko, so there's such a thing. Hearing this, Sui felt a bit more admiration for this witch. Enduring humiliation. Under the seemingly coquettish protective clothing, there was a kind and intelligent heart. To be so experienced at such a young age, it seemed that what she had experienced was definitely beyond Su Yi's imagination. Suddenly, Su Yi thought of the place where he had whipped Yin Chani a few days ago. He had even branded her with a phoenix symbol, and his heart was filled with regret. In the inner hall, Runyang pushed open the door and walked out. "Little Yi, rest early. In 2 days, there will be another demon earthquake. We will have to be busy for a while." Runyang's voice transmitted to Su Yi's ears. Under the moonlight, Runyang's figure slowly walked past. The reflection on the glorious stone slab was that of an old deer. "So it's a deer demon." Su Yi nodded. Immediately, he took out a bottle of spirit liquid from his bosom and operated the Origin Supreme technique, injecting fire energy into it. Whoosh whoosh. Within the cloud shadow treading frost barrier, Su Yi controlled his aura extremely well. From the outside, no one could discover him. Yin Chani was in the inner hall, and Su Yi was outside, strengthening the spirit liquid. The two enemies were only separated by a wall. At this moment, a painful whimper came from inside. Yin Chani, who had taken off her clothes once again, walked in front of the bronze mirror and turned her body sideways. Her curvaceous figure caused one's imagination to run wild. She spread her arms like a colorful butterfly, spreading its wings. The entire hall was filled with boundless spring light. It was definitely the most beautiful scene in the world. Her jade-like hands moved down from her neck to the phoenix symbol on her back. The faint red lines released a dense radiance, and the wounds that had not completely scabbed over still had cherry blossom-like blood dripping out. That guy, if I see him again, I will definitely kill him." Yin Chani gritted her teeth in hatred. She recalled Su Yi's wild and unrestrained appearance and his devilishly charming actions. No one had ever done such a thing to her before. Gently stroking the place where she had been hit, the unbearable memories surfaced again. Yin Chani couldn't help but curse. How could that woman, Wen-Fai, like such a bastard? Yin Chani cursed angrily. She immediately changed her mind. That stinky woman really had her 7 emotions and 6 desires extracted. She definitely wouldn't like anyone. Yin Chani slanted her eyes and swayed left and right. She looked at herself in the mirror. Her every movement had a sense of charm. It must be that brat's unrequited love. He really is blind. He likes that iceberg face of Wen-Fai and doesn't like me. After saying this, Yin Chani chuckled. Her peach blossom eyes were flushed with shyness. "Wen-Fai, I want to compete with you." No one cares about me, so I can't care about myself." With a shout, Yin Chani completely took off her clothes. Her left hand released a surge of energy, and a set of colorful clothes flew out from the inner room. Bang! At this moment, Su Yi, who was standing outside the window, had just finished strengthening the spirit liquid. Seeing such a magnificent scene, his heart was moved. Chapter 2496. www. A wonderful free read. This demonic lass is really asking for a scolding. Doesn't she need to wear clothes in her own home? Su Yi cursed in his heart. Suddenly, an inexplicable anger rose in his heart. Immediately, the aura dissipated. Su Yi's expression changed slightly as he muttered in his heart. Not good. The cloud shadow steps were controlled by soul energy. When the aura was released, it was too late to fix it. Who is it? At this moment, Yin Chani had already discovered Su Yi's existence outside the hall. In the inner hall, Yin Chani's shout resounded through the heavens and earth. She wore a beautiful, colorful dress and entered. Immediately, a burst of energy shot through the air and pierced through the door and window. Bang! The window frame exploded, and dust filled the air. Su Yi cursed in his heart. Immediately, he circulated the Origin Supreme technique and stepped through the ruins with the cloud shadow steps. He strode in confidently. Dust swirled around. Yin Chani turned around, and a trace of killing intent flashed across her charming face. She looked coldly at the man who walked out of the dust. The man had sword-like eyebrows and starry eyes. His body was tall and thin. With his hands behind his back, he slowly walked out. His entire body was covered in fine ice crystals, and his entire body emitted a strange and evil aura that caused people to be intimidated. At this moment, Su-yi raised his eyes to look at the soft and moist Yun Chani. Without the gorgeous makeup, Yun Chani actually had a noble aura. Compared to when Fai, who was 1,000 miles away, this Yun Chani was definitely more popular with men. Under the colorful palace dress, her legs were faintly discernible. Her snowy peaks were like a hammer to Su-yi's heart. Facing such a peerless beauty, Su-yi muttered in his heart, "TSK, TSK. Only this is worthy of Yun Chani's fairy-like name. This woman just doesn't like to wear clothes. It's a little frustrating." Seeing Su-yi staring at her, Yun Chani's face turned cold. Her crystal-clear face moved slightly. "Who are you? How dare you barge into my illusory demon imperial court?" Su-yi was at a loss for words. He had only come here to check things out. Who would have thought that he would run into Yun Chani? He was not familiar with the star domain, so he would definitely be exposed if he made up a random story. Thus, he casually replied, "I'm a traveler from the star domain. I've heard that the illusory demon empress is peerlessly beautiful, so I came here late at night to take a look." Yun Chani's eyebrows twitched slightly. Then, she clenched her fists and shouted angrily, "You little flower thief! How dare you speak such nonsense?" Bang! Immediately, Su-yi raised an ice and snow barrier in front of him. The semicircular barrier was filled with light patterns, and the crystals on it were swirling, looking extremely sharp. "Are you from the Shuo Bingstar region?" Yun Chani asked when she saw Su-yi's strong control over the water element. I still can't hide it from Venerable Chani." Immediately, Su-yi admitted that he was from the Shuo Bing galaxy without a second thought. Su-yi shook his head and sighed. He praised Yun Chani and said casually, "Originally, I was ordered by the region lord to give Venerable Chani a bottle of jadeskin marrow. I came to visit late at night, but coincidentally, Venerable Chani was changing her clothes." Hearing this, Yun Chani's face relaxed slightly. "Luo Shuo, this rotten peach blossom, is quite useful. What jadeskin marrow? Show it to me." Su-yi's arm shook, and a bottle of spirit liquid flew into Yun Chani's hand. The spirit liquid entered her nose. With the enhancement of the Origin Supreme technique, Yun Chani naturally knew the quality of the spirit liquid. Yun Chani nodded without revealing her emotions. She put away the spirit liquid and said softly, "It is indeed good stuff. Please thank Luo Shuo for me. Can I leave now? Dominator Luo is still waiting for my reply." Su-yi smiled faintly. A trace of helplessness was written in his deep eyes. Whoosh, whoosh. Yun Chani's body surged with a surging aura. An explosion sounded in the air. The petals in the sky formed a long sword and aimed at Su-yi. "Whether this medicine is good or bad, I will only know after I use it. Since you have seen my body, you can stay and see my body for the rest of your life." Yun Chani smiled. Immediately, Su-yi cursed Yun Chani in his heart. She was heartless and unscrupulous. She was like a dog biting Lu Dongbin. The atmosphere changed instantly. Petals covered the sky like a grand firework. Su-yi said loudly, "I came to visit late at night for another matter. Region Lord Luo knows that the demon earthquake is coming, and I am good at controlling demonic aura. Therefore, he sent me to help Venerable Chani." "Controlling demonic aura? You have such an ability?" Yun Chani was skeptical and hesitant. If Su-yi could really help her, she would have more power during the Dharma Controller Conference. Suddenly, Yun Chani looked at Su-yi. She still didn't believe him and said angrily, "Fine, come with me." Under the moonlight, in the spacious, illusory demon imperial court, Yun Chani pointed around and said, "Every time a demon earthquake erupts, the location of the demonic aura is basically the same. There are 3 locations before this imperial court. Find them for me. If they are real, I will believe you. I won't spare you. If I find them, Will Venerable agree to let me help you deal with the demon earthquake? Sui asked. That depends on my mood. Let's begin, Yin Chani said indifferently. The petals disappeared, and Su Yi's aura decreased. According to Yin Chani's words, Su Yi slowly closed his eyes. A hand seal condensed in front of him. The Origin Supreme technique circulated in his body. When he opened his eyes, a fierce demonic aura flashed past them. The deep purple demonic aura instantly surged in the southeast, northeast, and northwest directions. Although there was only a trace of demonic aura, it was a piece of cake for the Origin Demon Emperor that ruled over thousands of demons. Looking at the demonic aura was even clearer than looking at a flag in the daytime. Bang! Soon, Su Yi reached the southeast corner. He turned around and smirked. Venerable Chani, first. Immediately, Yin Chani's face tightened. This person from the Shuab Bing galaxy had some skills. Her face turned green, and she snorted. There are two more. Su Yi already knew where the other two were, but if he found them too quickly, it would arouse suspicion. He circled around and searched slowly, purposely stalling for time. At first, he walked to the northeast corner and pretended that something was wrong. In the end, he returned to the northeast corner and couldn't make up his mind. Venerable, this should be the same, right? Immediately, Yin Chani's heart jumped. She looked at Su Yi suspiciously and said angrily, Last one, hurry up. At this time, Su Yi stood at the second northeast corner and looked down. Golden patterns flashed in his eyes, and he looked down through the gaps of the purple aura. A violent wave of wind, attribute, origin, chi hit the ground. There is indeed a wind heaven suppressing stone below. Su Yi suppressed the ecstasy in his heart. This demonic tremor was so powerful not only because of the great demon's aura, but also because of the wind heaven suppressing stone. This demonic girl would not casually explore the tombs of the great demon ancestors, so she had never thought about how the demonic tremor was formed. Su Yi was immediately sure that this silly girl did not know about the existence of the wind heaven suppressing stone. Presumably, the ancestors wanted to use the special effect of the wind heaven suppressing stone to channel the demonic aura. However, as the demonic aura increased year by year, the two forces fought against each other and caused the demonic tremor. Chapter 2497. So that's how it is. After understanding the situation, Su Yi smiled faintly. Behind him, Yin Chani sneered and clenched her fists. She looked at the motionless Su Yi and said in a low voice, The first two times were a blind cat running into a dead mouse. This is the last time I can't pretend anymore. I will definitely kill you, you liar. Su Yi calmed himself down. With the answer in mind, Su Yi nodded and walked towards the air vent in the northwest corner. Seeing Su Yi turn around, Yin Chani's expression changed. When Su Yi stood at the air vent of the demon quake, Yin Chani's expression had completely darkened. Supreme Chani, this is the place, right? Su Yi smiled faintly. After pausing for a moment, Yin Chani raised her eyebrows and an almost undetectable throbbing appeared on her bare face. You do have some skill. You pass. That's good. We agreed that I would come again on the day of the demon quake to help the demon empress. Su Yi glanced sideways and bowed. As soon as he finished speaking, Su Yi's feet glowed and his entire body turned into a string of blue ice crystals. He instantly arrived at the city wall. Standing against the wind, Su Yi looked devilishly charming under the moonlight. The cold wind lifted a few strands of his hair, and his long, narrow eyes flashed with an extremely seductive light. Where are you going? Yin Chani asked coldly. Su Yi turned around and smiled with his hands behind his back. His hearty laughter echoed throughout the illusory demon imperial court. Remember to use the medicine. The pattern on your back might not be able to be removed, but if you stop the bleeding in time and don't leave a scar, you won't waste this white jade back. In her eyes, Su Yi disappeared into the moonlight. Yin Chani gripped the ice-skin jade bone marrow that Su Yi had given her and muttered, Someone from the Snow Ice Star region? That's impossible. Looking at the three air vents, Yin Shani's eyes flickered and a large group of illusory demon guard arrived behind her. Seeing that Yin Shani was completely fine, Lu Ru finally relaxed. She asked worriedly, "Demon Empress, did something happen?" Facing the moonlight, Yin Chan Yi's sleeves fluttered. In the cold light, Yin Chan Yi gently placed the jadeskin marrow under her nose. A refreshing fragrance made Yin Chan Yi's eyes tremble. "Send someone to Shuo Bing's starfield immediately. Let's see if Luo Shuo sent anyone to deliver the medicine." "Yes." The guards immediately responded. When Yin Chani and Lu Ru returned to the main hall, Lu Ru picked up the spirit medicine bottle that Yin Chani had put down. "Chani, what are you thinking about?" Lu Ru asked. Yin Chani sat in front of the bronze mirror and looked at her own slightly powdered appearance. She softly asked, "Runyang, do you think I look better with or without makeup?" Runyang gently placed her hand on Yin Chani's shoulder and gently inserted a fire phoenix jade hairpin into her hair. She lovingly said, You already have the answer in your heart, don't you?" Immediately, Yin Chani abruptly nodded and said seriously, "I don't know if my guess is wrong or not." Yin Chani could change her appearance, but her eyes wouldn't change. How could she forget the unconcealable depth and evil charm in the depths of her eyes? If it really was that stinky bastard, why would he send me spirit medicine? Why would that stinky bastard help me eliminate Yao Zhen? Was it that ugly woman, Wen Fai, who sent him? On the day of Yao Zhen, I want to see what you're up to, Yin Chani said faintly as she heavily smashed the dressing table. After returning to the inn, Su Yi stretched lazily and fell asleep. In the next few days, Su Yi strolled around the illusory Demon Imperial City during the day and learned about the secrets of the entire starfield. At night, he went to the illusory Demon Imperial City to investigate. He looked at the airports and investigated how many experts and guards there were in the illusory Demon Imperial City. It looked like he hadn't done anything, but He was basically confident about the wind suppression heaven stone. Little handsome Su Tianke, and Ling Lanin each did their own things under Su Yi's orders. This was the world of great demons. The ancestors of these demon beasts had arrived, so anyone would listen to their orders. Only Feng Kuang was in a dilemma in the inn. He looked at them as if they weren't doing anything, but they were busy. Finally, one day, Feng Kuang couldn't take it anymore and walked in front of little handsome Su, who was cultivating. "Little handsome, what exactly do we need to do for Yao Zhen?" Slowly opening his eyes, handsome Su stretched lazily and looked at Feng Kuang's sword from the corner of his eyes. "Young people are so impatient. Just wait and see. This time, with grandfather's help, the wind suppression heaven stone will be as easy as pie." Feng Kuang curled his lips and looked at Su Tianke and Ling Lanin, who also had a victorious smile on their faces. He could only leave in embarrassment. In the shadow of the morning sun, golden light sprinkled down. In the early morning mist, beams of golden light penetrated through the clouds and sprinkled down. Heaven and earth were filled with Buddhist light. Roar! With the illusory demon imperial court as the center, a shocking roar rushed into the clouds. Terrifying demonic aura shrouded the sky and began to sweep through the entire illusory demon imperial city like a storm. Outside the window, the neighbors, palaces, and houses began to erupt with terrifying roars. The sound was like thunder rolling through the sky. "The Yao Zhen has begun. The Yao Zhen has begun. Close the door. Don't go out. Little Sure, little Lu, go home." The illusory demon imperial city was in chaos. In the early morning, everything began to go crazy. Under the huge pressure, many great demons began to flee for their lives. Bang, bang, bang. Soon, many mountains around the imperial city began to explode one after another, producing thunderous sounds. It was as if the ninth heaven profound lightning had struck the sky. The demonic aura directly burned the void into a distorted state. "It has begun." Su Yi and the others, who had been paying attention to the movements of the illusory demon imperial court, had a serious expression. In the distance, many palaces in the imperial city erupted like volcanoes. The terrifying dark purple demonic aura almost turned into a rain of light and covered the entire area. The destructive energy destroyed houses and buildings, implicating many buildings. Countless palace maids and guards who were implicated continuously let out miserable cries. Even though they were so far away, Su-yi could feel how terrifying this Yaojin was. It's more serious than we thought. If we don't take out the wind-suppressing Heavenstone, I'm afraid the next Yaojin will plunge the entire illusory demon imperial court into misery and suffering. Su-yi looked at the imperial city in the distance. Boss, let's proceed according to the original plan. Handsome Su said coldly. Let's go. Without any delay, Su-yi looked at the terrifying aura and instantly tapped lightly in the air, rushing out. The few of them immediately scattered in the air. My lords, what am I doing? Feng Kuang Yijin roared. Stay here and wait for us in a while. Handsome Su's voice transmitted back. Feng Kuang Yijin's expression changed as he looked above the imperial city. The terrifying aura was like a whirlpool, causing his heart to tremble for no reason. Chapter 2498. Within the imperial court, in front of the main hall, demonic aura filled the air. The ground was covered by the demonic aura, and the scorching demonic souls surrounded the area, shattering everything into pieces. Demon Empress. The Thousand Goblins sect has fallen. A large number of demonic souls have charged forward, and countless soldiers have been sacrificed. What? Standing at the front of the main hall, Yin Chani's expression was serious as she listened to the report from the soldiers. The demonic tremors that occurred once every 10 years were unusual, and this one was even more terrifying than the one from 10 years ago. Yin Chani was worried. Could it be that the demonic crystals left behind by her ancestors were no longer useful? At this moment, another shocking sound came from the sky. The roar of a beast was like thunder, and a giant demonic soul whirlpool instantly uprooted the main hall in the northwest. The palace shook, and the roof tiles were instantly turned into rubble. A terrifying aura descended like the end of the world. Looking up at the sky, Yin Chani's eyes trembled. She could feel the extremely dangerous aura in the air, and the demonic aura began to emit from the 3 vents in the main hall. At this moment, Yin Chani's heart trembled. The hundreds of vents in the illusory demon imperial court had been reinforced again and again in the past 10 years. However, in the face of an unprecedented demonic tremor, these reinforced vents couldn't even last 15 minutes. Yin Chani's eyes shrunk, and cold sweat began to appear on her forehead. The demonic tremor in front of her had already surpassed her understanding. Bang, bang, bang. 3 deep, beastly roars instantly turned into a blinding demonic light that covered the sky. The 3 vents that Su-yi had found a few days ago suddenly exploded. Like a tsunami, the terrifying demonic light directly tore the space apart. Lightning flashed and turned into a 10,000-meter-long python that surged in the air. Xiaoyi. Lu Ru was standing at the northwest corner, and she condensed all her battle strength. She wanted to use all her strength to block the exploding vents. Seeing that Lu Ru was in danger, Yin Chani immediately shouted. Giant flower petals appeared behind her, and a terrifying aura spread out. She rushed towards Lu Ru like a ghost. Runyang, run! Yin Chani's eyes widened. She grabbed Lu Ru's hand and was about to throw her out. Bang! Runyang shot out like an arrow. Seeing that Yin Chani was surrounded by the 3 demonic auras, Lu Ru shouted, Men, save the Demon Empress! Save the Demon Empress! Under the 3 auras, countless guards and palace maids wanted to charge in, but they were thrown out by the demonic auras. Bang, bang, bang. Countless black shadows turned into cannonballs, and the illusory demon main hall was already impregnable. No matter how the normal guards attacked, they were unable to enter. Literally, Runyang cried as she hurriedly roared. Where are my illusory demon elders? What about the experts? Are they all dead? One of the guards turned back and yelled out while his badly battered face was flushed red. The demon empress said that she will guard these 3 places herself. The other elders must guard the other hundreds of air exits. Immediately, everyone's gazes became extremely serious. 3 python-like demonic chi quickly wrapped around Yunchani. Even though Yunchani was an expert at the Origin Sky realm, everyone still couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat under this demonic aura. Boom! In front of the main hall, Yunchani could feel the terror of the demonic aura. Her eyes shone brightly. The surging pillars of demonic chi attacked from both sides, and there was even one following behind. When the demonic chi was about to hit Yunchani, Runyang and all the spectators screamed out in shock. Demon Empress, be careful! In the blink of an eye, Yunchani turned around. Her body was already surrounded by a steel-like forearm, and a unique fragrance entered her nose. It's you. When she turned around, Yunchani realized that the person who had saved her was the mysterious person from a few days ago. Su-yi smiled faintly. His footsteps were profound, and the ice crystals in the air started to spin. The Origin Supreme technique's immense pressure instantly pushed back the demonic chi, and the 2 of them landed firmly on the ground. Yunchani, who was lying in Su-yi's arms, still didn't have any makeup on. It seemed like it was done on purpose. Looking at this devilishly charming face, Yunchani's heart started to pound uncontrollably. I said that I would help you on the day of the demonic earthquake. Have you forgotten? Su-yi put Yunchani down, and the faintly discernible smile on his face showed his extreme confidence. Standing in front of Su-yi, Yunchani could feel that the demonic chi was very afraid of Su-yi. She was shocked and asked coldly, "What method do you have?" Su-yi stood proudly, and his expression was cold and resolute. He stomped the ground and said, "If I'm not wrong, the illusory demon imperial court's tomb should be below us, right?" "That's right." Yunchani's eyes were filled with doubt, but she immediately locked onto Su-yi. Gently spreading his robes, Su-yi exuded a domineering aura. He said faintly, "Bring me down. The demonic chi is gathering below us. Disperse the demonic chi, and the demonic earthquake will naturally disappear." Hearing this, Yunchani's eyebrows trembled, and her gaze became heavy. Impossible. How can the resting place of our ancestors be disturbed so casually? The demonic earthquake is a test for our descendants. What's the difference between this and digging up a tomb? Ha ha ha. Instantly, a ferocious aura exploded from Su-yi's body. He coldly snorted and said, "Yunchani, I can see that you're a person with a pure heart. How can you be so stupid at a time like this? If you're going to stick to the rules like this, then I've misjudged you." After speaking, Su-yi turned around and left. Since Yunchani wasn't willing to lead the way, he could just find a random vent and go in. Wait. Su-yi turned around and looked at the hesitant Yunchani. The latter raised her eyebrows. "After we go in, are you sure you can deal with the demonic earthquake?" "Of course I can. But after I'm done, I want to borrow something from you." Borrowing in the open was better than being stabbed in the back. The demonic earthquake was unprecedented, and Su-yi was a benefactor to the illusory demon imperial court. According to Yunchani's heart, she probably wouldn't refuse. "What thing? If you want to borrow my life, do I have to give it to you?" Yunchani's eyes were filled with displeasure, and her moon-like eyes revealed a hint of sharpness. "Of course it's something that's useless to you, but useful to me. Go in or not, decide quickly." No one had ever spoken to Yunchani like this before. Su-yi was the first person to put Yunchani in such a dilemma. Staring at Su-yi, Yunchani was even more certain that he was the stinky guy beside Wen-Fi. "Stinky guy, I'll fight you to the death. I want to see what tricks you have up your sleeve." Yunchani took a step forward. Her figure was tall and straight, and she carried a sense of determination. "Follow me." Under everyone's gazes, Yunchani brought Su-yi to the northeast corner. Forming a profound seal in her hand, she opened the vent, and a vast demonic energy instantly surged out from the ground. Yin Chani staggered and fell backward from the demonic energy, but she was caught by Su Yi. His palm was pressed against her back, and Su Yi's voice was soft. "It seems like the medicine I gave you is quite effective." Yin Chani turned around and glared at Su Yi. With a great disaster before them, she couldn't argue with Su Yi. Her face was red as she said softly, "Follow me." Chapter 2499. M.X.A. Z. Com/Bo/. Chapter 1. Deposed son-in-law. The heavens have blessed my Yi clan. Our foundation will be evergreen, and our descendants will be extraordinary. Our descendants will all be dragons and phoenixes among men. Yi family's matriarch leaned on her dragon-headed walking stick and looked at the Yi family's descendant with a gratified expression. Today was the 60th birthday of the head of the Yi family, Lu Fengji. Since the old man of the Yi family fell seriously ill, the old lady of the Yi family took over the power and made all the decisions. Those who came to celebrate the birthday today were all influential figures in the Yin province. At this moment, a long shout rang out. M.X/Bo. Yi family's Yi Tanming congratulates the Dowager Duchess on having a fortune as vast as the East Sea and a long life as long as the South Mountain. The chairman of Qianyuan, Wang Fushan, wishes old madam a long life and presents a pair of jewelry and jade carvings. The general manager of Fenghai Group wishes old madam good fortune, longevity, and good health, and presents a gold inlaid plaque. The guests who came and went looked at the expensive gifts and felt envious. The total value of the gifts this time was probably over 5 million. However, the following voice left all the guests stunned and speechless. The son-in-law of the Yi family, Xiao Yang, wishes the old matriarch a long life and presents a rusty copper pot. As soon as he said this, the guests looked at each other and then burst into laughter. Is this Xiao Yang the bastard who married into the Yi family 3 years ago? That's him. I don't know what old Master Yi is thinking. Although Yi Yinshu's father is mediocre, Yi Yinshu is still the daughter of the Yi family. Why did he betroth her to a nobody? For the past 3 years, the Dowager Duchess has never allowed him to take half a step into the Yi family. This is enough to prove that she is dissatisfied with him. Today is the Dowager Duchess' birthday, yet she gave him a piece of scrap metal. What a joke. Yi Yinshu was a very beautiful woman. She had a tall and slender figure, dark eyebrows, and a naturally high-class face. However, at this moment, his face was filled with gloom. M.X.A.Z. Com/B/ she pulled Xiao Yang, who was standing at the side, to a corner. Old Yinshu, what's wrong? Xiao Yang asked, puzzled. Yi Yinshu said angrily, You're asking me what's wrong? Where's the gift I bought for you? Xiao Yang innocently pointed at the copper pot on the big red table. There, that's it. 50,000 yuan. You actually bought a piece of scrap metal. Today is Grandma's birthday. How can you do this? After saying that, Yi Yinshu felt wronged. It had been 3 years. That good-for-nothing had done nothing but stay at home and cook. His cooking was not bad, but what use was that? A real man had to achieve a world-shaking career and achieve unparalleled fame and fortune. That was what a real man was. However, when they looked at Xiao Yang again, he still had an indifferent look on his face, which made them both angry and hateful. M.X.A.Z. Com/Bo/ take today's incident as an example. Although 50,000 yuan was not much, it was enough to buy a decent gift. However, he bought a piece of scrap metal and threw it away at his grandmother's birthday banquet. Sure enough, he couldn't hand over such an important matter to Xiao Yang. He was really useless. If it weren't for the Yi family's reputation, she might have divorced this good-for-nothing a long time ago. Yinshu, don't be fooled by this copper pot's appearance. It's a piece of bronze handed down from the Han Dynasty. It's worth at least 50 million yuan. Oh, 50 million yuan? You didn't buy it from the antique street, did you? At this moment, Yi Tanming walked over with a playful smile. Yi Tanming was the Dowager Duchess's most favored grandson. If there were no accidents, Yi Tanming would be in charge of the Yi family in the future. Naturally, he knew this, so he had always thought highly of himself. He especially looked down on his second uncle's family. Because his second uncle was not favored, he went out early to start his own business. He was only allowed to visit the Yi family on important occasions. Xiaoyang glanced at him indifferently and said truthfully, "I bought it from the antique street." As soon as he said that, all the guests burst into laughter. Who doesn't know that 80 to 90% of the antique street's goods are fake? It's fine if you bought a fake, but at least pick a decent one. Look at the gift I prepared for Grandma. Yi Tanming walked in front of the sea of jade that was half the height of a man. His proud expression was self-evident. Indeed, compared to his gift, Xiaoyang's gift was not worth mentioning. At this moment, the Dowager Duchess walked over with her dragon-headed walking stick. All the relatives and guests stood up respectfully. "Grandma, Xiaoyang is insensible. Please don't blame him. When I go back, I'll prepare a decent gift for you." Computer, www.com/Yinshu took a few steps forward and bowed to the Dowager Duchess. Although she and Xiaoyang were only married in name, he was still her husband in name. In front of the relatives, she still had to protect him. The Dowager Duchess looked at the copper pot and showed a disgusted expression. She snorted from her nostrils. "Forget it. Your family doesn't have much money. Stay here and live a good life. Grandson, the birthday banquet is about to start. Help me there." Yi Tanming agreed and quickly supported the Dowager Duchess. He did not forget to turn around and give Yi Yinshu a proud look. Yi Yinshu bitterly bit her lips. She originally wanted to use this birthday banquet to leave a good impression on the Dowager Duchess. It seemed that everything was ruined. She was about to follow when the Dowager Duchess said indifferently, "The main table is full. You don't need to go up." Yi Yinshu stopped in her tracks. A sense of humiliation lingered in her heart. M8. The dignified daughter of the Yi family had to sit with the guests. She felt countless curious gazes on her. Yi Yinshu wished she could just leave. She looked at the main table on the stage. Under the spotlight, the banquet was filled with laughter. This kind of disparity in treatment showed how much the Dowager Duchess disliked her family. Her father was useless, but he was still a member of the Yi family. Unfortunately, her son-in-law was even more useless. In the Dowager Duchess' eyes, Yi Yinshu's family was completely hopeless. "Yinshu, are you envious?" Xiaoyang asked with a smile. Yi Yinshu impatiently said, "What's the use of being envious? That's the main table. Only the Dowager Duchess can sit there. What am I worth?" After grandfather fell seriously ill, our whole family moved out. Our lives were getting worse day by day. I wanted to use this opportunity to curry favor with the Dowager Duchess and ask for some resources from the Yi family. But now, forget it. What's the use of telling you? You don't understand. Yi Yinshu said, feeling wronged. Tears fell from her eyes. Xiaoyang was startled. "I don't understand. M8/what?" A man with ambition was like a swan swaying the sky. He had never thought of getting involved in the Yi family's affairs. It wasn't that he didn't want to, but that he disdained to do so. Xiaoyang was the founder of the world's #1 secret organization, the Dragon King Palace. People called him the Dragon King. He had 4 great seraphs and 12 great seraphs under him. He controlled half of the world's power and wealth. It could be said that with a single word from Xiaoyang, not to mention the Yi family, even the great families of Yin province would be annihilated in a blink of an eye. He didn't understand? He had been a live-in son-in-law for 3 years just to fulfill his long-cherished wish. But now, he regarded Yi Yinshu as his wife. However, every time Yinshu came back from the Yi family, she was always smiling. Xiaoyang thought that Yi Yinshu should have a certain status in the Yi family. But today he saw that it wasn't the case. Thinking of this, Xiaoyang said lightly, "Yinshu, if you like, I'll let you sit in that seat." "Oh, wonderful book house." Chapter 2500 X8 Z com/bow/. Chapter 1 Discarded Son-in-Law. God bless my Yi family. Our foundation will be evergreen and our descendants will be extraordinary. Our descendants will all be dragons and phoenixes among men. Yi family's matriarch leaned on her dragon-headed walking stick and looked at her descendants with gratification. Today was the 60th birthday of Lu Fengji, the head of the Yi family. Ever since Yi family's old master fell seriously ill, Yi family's matriarch took over the reins and made all the decisions. Those who came to congratulate her were all influential figures in Yin province. At this moment, a long shout was heard. M.X./Bo. Yi family's Yi Tanming wishes old Madam happiness as boundless as the East Sea and longevity as long as the South Mountain. He presents a jade sea. Qinyuan's chairman Wang Fushan wishes old Madam a long life and presents a pair of jewels and jade carvings. Fenghai Group's general manager wishes old Madam happiness and good health. He presents a golden laid plaque. The guests who came and went looked at the expensive gifts with envy. The total value of the gifts added up to more than 5 million yuan. However, the next voice made the guests somewhat stunned and speechless. Yi family's son-in-law, Xiao Yang, wishes old Madam a long life and presents a rusty copper pot. As soon as these words came out, the guests looked at each other in dismay, and then burst into a burst of contemptuous laughter. Is this Xiao Yang the bastard who married into the Yi family 3 years ago? That's him. I don't know what old Master Yi is thinking. Although Yi Yunshu's father is mediocre, Yi Yunshu is still the Yi family's precious daughter. Why did he betroth her to a nobody? Old Madam hasn't allowed him to step into the Yi family for 3 years. This is enough to prove her dissatisfaction. Today is old Madam's birthday, but he presents a piece of scrap metal. What a joke. Yi Yunshu was a very beautiful woman. She had a tall figure and dark eyebrows. She was born with a high-class face. However, at this moment, her face was covered with haze. M.X.8.Z. Com/B/ She pulled Xiao Yang, who was standing at the side, to a corner. Old Yunshu, what's wrong? Xiao Yang asked, puzzled. Yi Yunshu said angrily, How dare you ask me what's wrong? Where's the gift I bought for you? Xiao Yang innocently pointed at the copper pot on the big red table. There, that's it. 50,000 yuan? You actually bought a piece of scrap metal. Today is Grandma's birthday. How can you do this? After saying that, Yi Yunshu felt wronged. It had been 3 years. That good-for-nothing had done nothing but stay at home and cook. His cooking was not bad, but what use was that? A real man had to achieve earth-shattering things and achieve unparalleled fame and fortune. That was what a real man was. However, when they looked at Xiao Yang again, he still had an indifferent look on his face, which made them both angry and hateful. M.X.8.Z. Com/Bo/ Take today's incident as an example. Although 50,000 yuan was not much, it was enough to buy a decent gift. However, he bought a piece of scrap metal and threw it away at his grandmother's birthday banquet. Sure enough, he couldn't hand over such an important matter to Xiao Yang. He was really useless. If it weren't for the Yi family's reputation, she might have divorced this good-for-nothing a long time ago. Yunshu, don't be fooled by this copper pot's appearance. It's a piece of bronze handed down from the Han Dynasty. It's worth at least 50 million yuan. Oh, 50 million yuan? You didn't buy it from the antique street, did you? At this moment, Yi Tanming walked over with a playful smile. Yi Tanming was the Dowager Duchess's most favored grandson. If there were no accidents, Yi Tanming would be in charge of the Yi family in the future. He naturally knew this, so he had always thought highly of himself. He especially looked down on his second uncle's family. Because his second uncle was not favored, he went out early to start his own family business. He was only allowed to visit the Yi family on important occasions. Xiao Yang glanced at him indifferently and said truthfully, I did buy it from the antique street. As soon as he said this, the guests burst into laughter. Who doesn't know that 80 to 90% of the antique street's goods are fake? It's fine if you bought a fake, but at least pick a decent one. Look at the gift I prepared for Grandma. Yi Tanming walked in front of the sea of jade that was half the height of a man. His proud expression was self-evident. Indeed, compared to his gift, Xiao Yang's gift was not worth mentioning. At this moment, the Dowager Duchess walked over with her dragon-headed walking stick. All the relatives and guests stood up respectfully. Grandma, Xiao Yang is insensible. Please don't blame him. When I go back, I'll prepare a decent gift for you. Computer www.com/Yinshu took a few steps forward and bowed to the Dowager Duchess. Although she and Xiao Yang were only married in name, he was still her husband in name. In front of the relatives, she still had to protect him. The Dowager Duchess looked at the copper pot and showed a disgusted expression. She snorted from her nostrils. Forget it. Your family doesn't have much money. Stay here and live a good life. Grandson, the birthday banquet is about to start. Help me there. Yi Tanming agreed and hurriedly supported the Dowager Duchess. He did not forget to turn around and give Yi Yinshu a proud look. Yi Yinshu bitterly bit her lips. She originally wanted to use this birthday banquet to leave a good impression on the Dowager Duchess. It seemed that everything was ruined. She was about to follow when the Dowager Duchess said indifferently, "The main table is full. You don't need to go up." Yi Yinshu stopped in her tracks. A sense of humiliation lingered in her heart. 8. The dignified daughter of the Yi family had to sit with the guests. She felt countless curious gazes on her. Yi Yinshu wanted nothing more than to walk away. She looked at the main table on the stage. Under the spotlight, the banquet was filled with laughter. This kind of disparity in treatment showed how much the Dowager Duchess disliked her family. Her father was useless, but he was still a member of the Yi family. Unfortunately, her son-in-law was even more useless. In the Dowager Duchess' eyes, Yi Yinshu's family was completely hopeless. "Yinshu, are you envious?" Xiao Yang asked with a smile. Yi Yinshu impatiently said, "What's the use of being envious? That's the main seat. Only the Dowager Duchess can sit there. What am I worth?" After grandfather fell seriously ill, our whole family moved out. Our lives were getting worse day by day. I wanted to use this opportunity to curry favor with the Dowager Duchess and ask for some resources from the Yi family. But now, forget it. What's the use of telling you? You don't understand. Yi Yinshu said, feeling wronged. Tears fell from her eyes. Xiao Yang was startled. "I don't understand." 8/what? A man with ambition was like a swan swaying the sky. He had never thought of participating in the Yi family's affairs. It wasn't that he didn't want to, but that he disdained to do so. Xiao Yang was the founder of the world's #1 secret organization, the Dragon King Palace. People called him the Dragon King. Under his command were the 4 great seraphs and the 12 great seraphs. He controlled half of the world's power and wealth. It could be said that with a single word from Xiao Yang, not to mention the Yi family, even the great families of the entire Yin province would be annihilated in a blink of an eye. He didn't understand? He had been a live-in son-in-law for 3 years just to fulfill his long-cherished wish. But now, he regarded Yi Yinshu as his wife. It was just that every time Yi Yinshu came back from the Yi family, she was always smiling. Xiao Yang originally thought that Yi Yinshu should have a certain status in the Yi family. But after meeting her today, that wasn't the case. Thinking of this, Xiao Yang said calmly, "Yinshu, if you like, I'll let you sit in that seat." "What?" Chapter 25:01. Instantly, Yin Chani looked at the 2 overbearing demon souls above her head with shock. Her delicate body trembled, and her voice became even more hoarse. "Grandfather, great-grandfather." When the Cloud Lion Demon Emperor saw the 2 demonic souls approaching, he let out a low roar in excitement and said, "Father, Grandpa." The Cloud Lion Demon Emperor's father was the Supreme Demon Emperor, and his grandfather was the Ancestor Demon Emperor. Each Demon Emperor had a lifespan of at least 500 years. These 3 Demon Emperors had dominated the history of the illusory Demon Star Field for 1,500 years. Then, the 2 old Demon Emperors smiled and nodded. They looked at Su Yi and said respectfully, "Greetings, Lord Demon Emperor." Su Yi clapped his hands and withdrew his energy. His eyes were cold as he said softly, "I'll summon the 4 of you for now. Many of the illusory Demon Star Field experts from too long ago have lost their memories. Summoning them won't be of much use." Hearing her grandfather and great-grandfather call Su a Demon Emperor, Yin Chani's eyes widened. Grandfather, great-grandfather, this stinking brat wants to steal our demon soul crystal. This time, the demon tremors are so violent because of him. Why are you calling him Demon Emperor? What kind of demon emperor is he? Impudent, the two old demon emperors shouted at the same time. The supreme demon emperor looked at Su-Yi with fear and said softly, Lord Demon Emperor, Chani is my granddaughter. She has been spoiled since she was young and doesn't know any manners. Demon Emperor, please forgive her. Yes, although my great-granddaughter is beautiful, she is a bit arrogant and willful. Please forgive her for offending the Demon Emperor. Chani, hurry up and apologize to Lord Demon Emperor. The Supreme Demon Emperor and Ancestor Demon Emperor glared at Yun Chani. At this moment, Yun Chani was on the verge of collapse. What was going on? When did Su-Yi become a Demon Emperor? Father, Mother, Yun Chani pleaded with the Cloud Lion Demon Emperor. The Cloud Lion Demon Emperor saw that his father and grandfather were angry, so he didn't dare to say anything. Looking at the Supreme Demon Emperor, the Cloud Lion Demon Emperor thought about the wind heaven suppressing stone left behind by his ancestors and instantly realized something. Could it be? Father, is it true? The Cloud Lion Demon Emperor was extremely excited. He asked the Supreme Demon Emperor for his opinion. Yes. The Supreme Demon Emperor closed his eyes and nodded in agreement. Wah! His reaction was even more intense than that of the two Demon Emperors. The Cloud Lion and the colorful butterfly Demon Empress floated in front of Su-Yi at the same time and said in fear and trepidation, Cloud Lion has eyes but failed to see. Now, I bring my family to kneel down and kowtow to Chaos Demon Emperor, Lord Primogenitor. Greetings, Chaos Demon Emperor. Kaidai's terrified. Yin Chani pointed at Su-Yi when she saw that her parents had also gone crazy. What are you doing? What kind of Chaos Demon Emperor is he? If he is the Chaos Demon Emperor, then I am. Yin Chani's face instantly froze. She stared at Su-Yi's devilishly charming face, and her lips started to tremble uncontrollably. Is he really the progenitor of the Chaos Demon Star Zone, the Chaos Demon Emperor? That's right. The reason why we took the Wind Suppression Heavenly Stone from the Fighting Horn Tribe was to suppress Yaojun. Over time, the two energies collided with each other. That's why the Yaojun this time is so terrifying. The Cloud Lion sighed. The Chaos Ancient Bell, the Demon Emperor's unique artifact, and the terrifying aura of the 12 divine beasts accompanying it. This is the Lord Demon Emperor we've been waiting for. The Grand Demon Emperor gazed at Su-Yi with tears in his eyes. The Ancestor Demon Emperor turned to look at Yun Chani and sighed. Little E, the Chaos Demon Star Zone was built by the great demons that escaped from the realm of the gods. The Demon Emperor ruled over thousands of demons back then. Even our title of Demon Emperor and Demon Empress came from him. The four of them ordered Yin Chani at the same time. Here, kneel down. Kneel. Yin Chani was both shocked and furious. Her parents were telling her to kneel down. However, looking at the annoying face in front of her, Yin Chani's heart was filled with endless hatred. Puffed. Handsome Su Tianke, and the others crossed their arms and looked like they were waiting to watch a good show. Hey, little girl, why aren't you kneeling? It's not too much for me to call you little girl now, right? Handsome Su said faintly. Dad, did you see that? Is that Lord Phoenix? The Grand Demon Emperor looked at Handsome Su, who was speaking, and almost vomited blood. Upon closer inspection, it was not just Phoenix. There was also Peacock and 9 spiritlinks. These ancient demon beasts that only lived in the realm of the gods were actually living in the world. Suddenly, the four of them screamed and knelt down toward Handsome Su and the others again. Their mouths were filled with gratitude. God bless the Chaos Demon Star Zone. The Chaos Demon Star has finally reached its peak. The Demon Emperor has returned, and the gods have arrived. Oh my God, Dad! The Demon Emperors and Demon Empresses of the past have been waiting for the Demon Emperor after their deaths. Now, there's finally a result. Su-Yi felt a warmth in his heart as he looked at the four of them who were so excited. It turned out that the demon emperors and demon empresses had kept their golden cores and let their demon souls slowly dissipate to wait for him. Thinking about the 12 divine beasts that came to Sky Barbaric to find him, Su Yi's heart was filled with joy at the kindness of these demon beasts. Su Yi said faintly, "The Chaos Demon Emperor has no regrets in life with all of you protecting him." Crazy. You're all crazy. Even though the truth was already in front of her, Yun Chani still refused to admit it. She walked in front of the colorful butterfly demon empress and said loudly, "Mom, even if he's the demon emperor, he burned a phoenix symbol on my body. How am I supposed to live in the future?" Looking through the veil, the phoenix symbol was vivid and lifelike. Its feathers were like arrows and shone with a mysterious light. The four elders looked at Yun Chani's back. The Supreme Demon Emperor and the Ancestral Demon Emperor were shocked. After a moment of silence, the four of them rubbed their palms together excitedly. The colorful butterfly Demon Empress was even more grateful. She stood up and grabbed Yun Chani's jade-like hand, hugging her tightly. "Mom, what are you doing?" Yun Chani could feel a soft soul enveloping her. Yun Chani had not felt her mother's warmth for a long time. Her eyes were watery, and she was a little flustered. "Thank you, Lord Demon Emperor." The three demon emperors knelt on the ground and bowed to Su Yi. Su Yi was also a little embarrassed. Looking at handsome Su, he turned his head and said, "Thank me for what?" Handsome Su coughed and looked up. He whistled and said, "Did you forget? In the past, if you liked someone and wanted them to follow or serve you, you would ask me to imprint a phoenix symbol on them." She gasped. Things were getting out of hand. Instantly, Su Yi opened his eyes wide and rushed to handsome Su. He gritted his teeth and said, "Why didn't you say so earlier?" Handsome Su smiled innocently and said softly, "This girl is very pretty. Do I need you to remind me? Do I not have eyes?" Su Yi moved closer to handsome Su. His face was almost in front of handsome Su's. Handsome Su lowered his head and pouted like a child who had done something wrong. The demon emperors and empress saw how obedient the phoenix was, and their eyes almost popped out. "Ahem." Su Yi sighed and shook his head. This handsome Su really knew how to cause trouble for him. Chapter 25:02. Yun Chani was beautiful, but she was also kind. However, she was still the ruler of a region, and her demonic reputation was widespread outside. He had originally wanted to find Yun Jing and his mother and solve the immemorial crisis before returning to his heavenly barbarian region and becoming a rich man. Su Yi turned around and looked at Yun Chani. Yun Chani was also at a loss. The four demon emperors and demon empresses looked at Su Yi, their eyes full of hope. Their eyes were shining as if they were looking at a good son-in-law or grandson-in-law. They liked him no matter how they looked at him. In addition, Su Yi had such an earth-shattering identity. The seniors were very excited. Su Yi didn't know what to say to them. Yun Chani looked at Su Yi hesitantly. The faint hope in her eyes instantly turned into anger. "Father, mother, it was just a mistake. What is there to say?" Yun Chani said coldly. "This." Su Yi was shocked. Although that was what he said, it was a slap to the girl's face. Yun Chani was extremely proud. Compared to her appearance, her heart was the weakest. Su Yi said softly, "Let's talk about this later." Hearing this, the disappointed demon emperors and demon empresses became excited again. Su Yi looked at Yun Chani and said softly, "Now that everything is clear, it's time to clear my name, right?" Yun Chani was silent and snorted. The Supreme Demon Emperor and Ancestral Demon Emperor had no choice but to apologize to Su Yi on behalf of Yun Chani. They said solemnly, "Thank you, Demon Emperor, for helping. Even if it is suppressed this time, the demonic aura is getting stronger. If we don't channel it, the Chaos Demon Star region will be in trouble in 10 years. Thank you, Demon Emperor." Seeing that her parents were also thanking him, Yun Chani frowned and started to cry. "Father, mother, when you came out, you didn't feel sorry for her?" Instead, you helped outsiders. The people outside bullied me, and you bullied me too. They don't want me, and you are thanking them. I don't care if he is a demon emperor. In my eyes, he is one Fai's man. After saying that, Yin Chani started to cry, and her eyes were red. For a moment, the four demon emperors and demon empresses felt rather awkward. Okay, it's all my fault. Father will protect you. Good girl, Grandpa is here. Who said we won't protect you? He immediately shook his head. No wonder Yin Chani was so childish. It turned out that her parents had spoiled her. The ancestral demon emperor walked to Su Yi's side and said in a low voice with a helpless expression, I'm sorry. Don't worry. Domain Lord Chani is also sincere. She is much better than the others. Su Yi was speaking the truth. It was rare for someone of such a high position to maintain such sincerity. Yin Chani pursed her lips and stopped crying, but she still couldn't be bothered with Su. She had actually delivered herself to his doorstep, and Su Yi hadn't even wanted her. This was a huge blow to the proud Yin Chani. Domain Lord Cloud Lion, how did you perish back then? Yin Chani's expression changed instantly, and she stared at her parents. At the mention of this matter, Cloud Lion clenched his fists and said angrily, during the ruler conference 70 years ago, it was Nan Kuo from the Ultimate Paradise Star region who killed us. That bastard tricked me and Kai Dai into going to a whirlpool. He said that there was the aura of the realm of the gods. When we got there, they pushed us in. Our vitality was quickly sucked away. That was definitely not the power of a star region. It was ancient and powerful, Kai Dai said with fear in her heart. Instantly, Su Yi and Little Handsome Su looked at each other. Su Yi touched his chin and said softly, ancient and powerful? It's probably a remnant of the realm of the gods. It's very likely that they are my enemies in the realm of the gods. Su immediately thought of the woman who had triggered the immemorial great calamity. Although he hadn't seen her face clearly, Su Yi knew that she was the love of his previous life. Great God Yuluo. How'd he die? How could Yuluo trigger the immemorial great calamity? Su Yi still didn't understand. Old enemy? Ancestral demon emperor said softly. Ultimate Paradise Star region. Demon emperor, do you really not remember anything? Su Yi shook his head. Ancestral demon emperor looked around and said, I heard from my ancestors that the demon emperor's greatest enemy was Xianyuan Qiange from the Ultimate Paradise Star region. Instantly, Su Yi and Little Handsome Su felt a pain in their heads. Su Yi immediately recalled bits and pieces of memories. Xianyuan Qiange. Yuluo seemed to have admitted to me that she was sent by Xianyuan Qiange. Su Yi said painfully. Behind him, Little Handsome Su's eyes turned sharp. The two of them suddenly became clear about what had happened in the realm of the gods. Back then, he had transcended worldly affairs and cultivated the Origin Supreme technique. He had obtained the true essence of the human, demon, and demon-god realms. He ruled over thousands of demons. Heavenly Star Divine Palace, Bloodsword Divine Palace, and other small star regions were on good terms with him. In the entire god realm, the Chaos Demon Emperor had an earth-shattering reputation. The Demon Emperor was wild and unrestrained. He treated all living beings equally, so he naturally received respect from all sides. But soon, the Chaos Demon Emperor's army of thousands of demons was criticized and speculated by the realm of the gods. Before the second Archean calamity arrived, the god race, divine beast race, and demon race entered a period of great chaos. For a chance of survival, each race fought fiercely to find the secret to escape the Archean calamity. At this time, the Chaos Demon Emperor was getting married in the Demon Emperor's realm. News of the Archean calamity reached the Demon Emperor Palace. Yuluo wanted to take advantage of the chaos to assassinate him, but she found that she had fallen in love with the Demon Emperor and confessed the truth. So she was sent by the Ultimate Paradise Star region's Realm King, Xianyuan Qiange. The Demon Emperor felt a chill in his heart, but he still chose to forgive Yuluo. At this time, Xianyuan Qiange knew that the Chaos Demon Emperor was not dead, but he had found a way to control and avoid the Archean calamity. Xianyuan Qiangu was prepared to start the Archean calamity and create an illusion of it. She was prepared to control everything and lure the demon emperor to the demon god realm. When the thousands of demons heard that the demon emperor was in danger, they also started an earth-shattering war. The demon god realm was in chaos. The demon god realm was the original location of the Chaos Demon Star region. This also proved that the Archean calamity really happened in the Chaos Demon Star region. Images flashed through Su Yi's mind as he and Little Handsome Su recounted what happened back then. The demon emperors and demon empresses were all dumbfounded as they listened to them. What happened after that? What happened after you entered the demon god realm? Xianyuan Qiangu plotted to kill you. How'd he die? Yun Chani was entranced and said softly. He shook his head, his eyes serious. He said softly, I can't remember what happened after that. I only remember that Xianyuan Qiangu and I both died. It was Yu Luo who started the Archean calamity. Instantly, everyone fell silent. No one had expected this result. The Archean calamity could really be avoided. They didn't dare to imagine that the second Archean calamity was started by great god Yu Luo. If that's the case, it's very likely that Xianyuan Qiangu is not dead. I have already reincarnated, and he may have borrowed Nan Ku's hand to reappear in the world. He said seriously. Chapter 2503 WWW. An exciting free read. What are you afraid of? Then let's kill him again. We didn't lose the last time either. Handsome Su snorted. Yes, Lord Demon King. Xianyuan Qiangu is the cause of all this. If Nan Ku and Xianyuan Qiangu are still in cahoots, there must not be a third primordial calamity. At this thought, Su nodded. Although there were still some mysteries that had yet to be resolved, Su now understood that Nan Ku definitely had designs on the realm of the gods and the immemorial Great Tribulation. Yun Jing and his mother were the hosts of the Wood Heaven-Suppressing Stone. Nan Ku captured them and sacrificed them to Xianyuan Qiangu, who would then be revived. With the help of the primordial calamity, the two of them could do whatever they wanted. As long as they defeated Nan Ku, rescued Yun Jing and his mother, and forced Nan Ku to tell them how to control the calamity, all the problems would be solved. If we don't stop Nan Ku, this Dharma Controller Conference might turn into a massacre. Su Yi's eyes widened. Sizzle. Demonic light flashed, and the figures of the Demon King and Demon Empress started to turn transparent. Yin Chani immediately shouted, Father, Mother, Grandfather, Great-Grandfather. Boom! The light spots in the sky turned into fireworks and started to bloom. The particle-like radiance shone on Yun Chani's bare face, making her look miserable and sorrowful. Lord Demon King, can Shaoi help us take care of them? The Cloud Lion laughed heartily. The demon souls had already waited for the Chaos Demon King. His time was up, and he should leave. Seniors, looking at the demon souls floating in the sky, Su Yi's heart ached. He had experienced so many things, and he was even more reluctant to part with these things. Then, Su Yi bowed to the seniors who valued friendship. His eyes shone brightly as he said softly, Yesterday was the Demon King, and today is Su Yi. I will repay your kindness forever. Ha ha ha! The Cloud Lion Demon King, the colorful butterfly Demon Empress, the Supreme Demon King, and the Ancestor Demon King looked at each other and laughed. Their hearty laughter echoed in the hall, and the light spots immediately dispersed. Shao Yi, be good and listen to the Lord Demon King. The heavens and earth lit up, and the brilliant radiance was like the sun. This was the beautiful light that the Demon Kings sacrificed their lives. Father, Mother, Grandfather. Yin Chani, Yun Chaniways. Even though 70 years had passed, Yun Chani was still a little girl, pure, and untainted by the world. Even after the light disappeared into the depths of the void and the hall returned to normal, Yun Chani was still convulsing. Instantly, Su Yi summoned the Chaos Ancient Bell once again. The Ancient Bell shone brightly as endless demonic chi surged into the bell, stirring up waves of wind. Roar! A wild and desolate demonic chi swept through the ancient bell. In an instant, lightning flashed and thunder roared, and a huge arc of light spread out. Finally, the demonic chi also exploded after rotating at high speed. An ancient golden core that was glowing with a mysterious light appeared in the middle of the ancient bell. The heavy aura that it emitted made everyone's heart tremble. This is the painstaking work of several generations of great demons in the illusory demon galaxy. Su Xiaoshui narrowed his eyes and nodded at the golden core. Whoosh! Su Yi grabbed at the air, and the golden core entered his hand. A majestic force of dragon and tiger flowed through his divine, profound spiritual meridians. It was hard to imagine what kind of terrifying progress he would make if he refined it. Demonic beasts' emotions are as deep as the ocean. Su Yi sighed. Woo-woo. Yin Chani was crying in front of the memorial tablet. Su Xiaoshui, Su Tianke, and the others looked at each other and left. Su Yi went up and said softly, "Here, take the golden core." Yin Chani's face was covered in tears. She looked up at Su Yi and sobbed. "Take it away. Grandpa and Grandma left it for me. My ancestors have been waiting for it. How can I not understand this?" Hearing this, Su Yi stared at Yin Chani. The charming girl from the beginning was really different now. Then Su Yi sat down and said softly, "There was once an extremely close person who passed away in front of me. I understand this feeling. I don't want to experience it again for the rest of my life." Dugi Yuma's figure immediately appeared in Su Yi's mind. She was also a meticulous, elegant, and beautiful woman. For him and Lu Ruashi, Dugi Yuma had overdrawn the life essence of her blue crystal double moon eyes. Every time he thought of her, Su Yi's heart ached. He looked at the two moons in the bell. It was as if Dugi Yuma had never left. Yin Chani quietly listened to Su Yi's story and raised her eyes to look at Su Yi's side profile. She didn't know when she had stopped crying. Although the man in front of her looked young, he had a demonic aura that was hard to come by. He had a unique charm. At this moment, a woman's sixth sense exploded. "I like her a lot," Yin Chani said softly. Su Yi's eyelashes fluttered 3 times as he murmured softly, "That girl has the blue crystal double moon eyes. She must be very beautiful." Yin Chani followed Su Yi's gaze and looked at the chaos ancient bell. Su Yi nodded again. His mind turned and he asked, "Have you seen the blue crystal twin moon pupils?" Yin Chani nodded and said, "I saw it when I was young. It was a grandmother in a remote star field. My parents took me there. There are 2 or 3 descendants of the blue crystal double moon eyes in the entire star field. Then look at that place. Does it mean that the blue crystal double moon eyes can be revived?" Su Yi pointed at the chaos ancient bell and asked in shock. Yin Chani stood up and wiped her tears. She walked in front of the bell and said softly, "The blue crystal double moon eyes have always died with the host. The power of the blue crystal double moon eyes is still there, so there's a possibility that it can be revived." In an instant, Su Yi turned Yin Chani around and placed his hands on her shoulders. He was overjoyed. "Let's go. Take me to that grandmother." Immediately, Yin Chani's face flushed red like a red leaf in the winter snow. She was thoroughly embarrassed. Her throat trembled and her eyes froze. She passed away a long time ago. Is that so? What about the others?" Su Yi continued to ask. Yin Chani thought for a moment and nodded. "I'll help you find them. However, it's best to enter the realm of the gods. The blue crystal double moon eyes originated from the blue crystal ancient capital." Okay. Su Yi became excited when he heard Yin Chani's suggestion. He had to enter the realm of the gods. Su Yi let go of Yin Chani's shoulders and was as happy as a child. Yin Chani felt a little bitter when she saw Su Yi like this. "Venerable Chani, thank you." Yin Chani looked up and said awkwardly, "You're welcome. The Dharma Controller Conference is about to begin. Hurry up and refine the demon core." Yin Chani said awkwardly. The two of them walked out side by side. Along the way, Yun Chani kept thinking about what the Cloud Lion Demon Emperor had said to Su Yi to take good care of her. However, she had arrogantly rejected him before, so it wasn't good to mention it now. Su Yi was also Wen Fai's subordinate, so it was even more impossible for her. Yun Chani stole a glance at Su Yi and sighed deeply before walking out with Su Yi. Missy, are you all right? Luru immediately rushed over when she saw the two of them walk out of the ancestral demon tomb. Hundreds of illusory demon starfield experts followed behind her. Chapter 2504. Runyang. Yun Chani looked at Runyang with an unnatural expression. Runyang checked Yun Chani from head to toe and asked her nervously, "Are you all right?" Yun Chani coughed, and Lu Ru stopped and said softly, "The fat kid over there said you saw the Cloud Lion Demon Emperor?" Yun Chani's eyes paused for a moment, and after they became slightly moist, she silently nodded her head. "So it's true that he's our son-in-law." Son-in-law? Yun Chani looked at Su Yi, who was standing next to handsome Su, and blushed. Suddenly, the hundreds of demons present exuded a strong demonic aura and shouted at Su Yi, "Greetings, young master." Their roars shook the sky, and their auras were powerful. Su Yi, who was talking to handsome Su, widened his eyes in shock. When he turned around, Yun Chani's face was already red. "You guys, what are you shouting for?" Yun Chani shouted. Lu Ru tugged on Yun Chani's sleeve and said in a soft voice, "Our illusory demon star region cannot allow you to become a law master. I've already told the great demons and elders that half of your threads of 7 emotions and 6 desires were extracted. They also agreed to let someone else be the ruler. Only half of your threads of 7 emotions were taken." So we looked at Yun Chani in shock. Yun Chani, who was standing in the distance and didn't know what to do, said softly, "Don't worry, my parents still treat me like a child. You have things to do, and I won't stop you. I won't interfere with your decisions." Su Yi nodded slowly and looked at the embarrassed crowd. "The illusory demon star zone has been very kind to me, and I will definitely repay them in the future. However, I have other things to do, and it's best not to force them." After saying that, Su Yi hurriedly pulled handsome Su back. At this time, a vast wave of air came from the horizon. My lord, is the demon earthquake over?" It was Feng Kuang, who had been waiting for a long time. He had been quiet all this time, and when he saw that Su Yi and handsome Su hadn't returned, he rushed to the illusory demon imperial capital. "It's time for me to leave." Su Yi's gaze met Yun Chani's. Yun Chani glanced at Feng Kuang's sword in the sky and said, "Since you're a demon emperor, the illusory demon emperor will always be waiting for you." This was the first time Yun Chani had said something like this to an outsider. "Little brother, are you looking down on our illusory demon star zone? Our area Lord Chani has already said so. Why aren't you staying?" "Son-in-law, we've never called anyone son-in-law before." Instantly, hundreds of great beasts began to discuss loudly. They wanted to stand up for Yun Chani, but they also wanted to see what kind of background this brat had. "Stand down," Yun Chani shouted. Everyone was stunned. Based on Yun Chani's temperament, if there was anyone who dared to not give her face, she would have already cut them into pieces. Duh. Then, Yun Chani walked in front of Su Yi and said softly, "You've helped me so much, but I still don't know your name." "Su Yi," Yun Chani muttered. Yun Chani raised her head and took a deep breath. Then, she smiled and said, "Don't let me catch you at the Law Controller Conference. Otherwise, I'll pester you." Instantly, Su Yi's heart skipped a beat. This demonic lass had returned to her charming self. Only Yun Chani could switch between pure and seductive at will. Yun Chani gazed at his back as he left the imperial capital. Her voice was soft yet powerful. "Su Yi, see you in a month." Roar, roar. The few of them flew side by side, leaving behind a few bright arcs in the sky. Feng Kuang's sword was still a little confused. How did Lord Su Yi get a wife after dealing with Yao Zhen? Or was it Yun Chani, the honorable Yun Chani? Shaking his head, Feng Kuang's sword looked at Su Yi with envy and admiration. Boss, do you regret it? Handsome Su asked softly. Su Yi raised his eyebrows and glared at Handsome Su. Can you please inform me in advance if something like this happens in the future? You're so lonely. You should take care of yourself. Little Handsome Su laughed and shrugged helplessly, his small eyes glancing behind him. I'm afraid I can't avoid Yun Chani anymore. The few of them returned to the Sword King Starfield. He sat in the cultivation room and meditated. He took out the wind heaven suppressing stone. Boom! Suddenly, wind and thunder roared in the room. The violent spatial storm turned into ripples, and a terrifying energy beam shot out. Under the shocking power, Yi set up the Chaos Ancient Bell. Looking up at the blue crystal twin moons, Yi raised his eyebrows. Boom! Then the space lit up. The fiery and blue energies caused the energy of heaven and earth to fluctuate rapidly. There's a reaction. Yi looked at the fire-suppressing heavenly stone and water-suppressing heavenly stone that came out in response, and a faint smile appeared on his face. Bang! A mysterious hand seal formed in front of him. Flowing light rippled. Yi gradually closed his eyes and began to refine the wind heaven suppressing stone. The Law Controller Conference was a month later. When there was still a week before the Ruler Conference, Wen Fai came to the Sword King Starfield again. When they saw Wen Fai again, Handsome Su and the others were very respectful. Wen Fai coldly asked Handsome Su where Yi went. Handsome Su answered honestly. The guy really got it? Wen Fai said softly. Handsome Su smirked and said softly, Auntie, you didn't go to get the wind heaven suppressing stone because it's with Yun Chani, right? Hearing Handsome Su call her Auntie, Wen Fai smiled and said, How did he get it? Ha ha ha. Handsome Su shook his head proudly. I'll let boss tell you himself. Time passed. There were only 4 days before the conference. He had been in seclusion for 26 days. Boom. At night, a majestic wind attribute energy gathered in the air. White light shone brightly in the air. A sharp and murderous aura swept across the area. Everyone's expression changed. They rushed to the front of the cultivation room. Their eyes were filled with shock. The aura surged over like a tide. A violent wind blew in the air. Under the wind attribute, the heavenly aura surged. At this moment, a figure was standing in the air, surrounded by a golden radiance. He waved his hand, and a white light turned into a tornado that filled the area. Boss, you succeeded? Handsome Su was pleasantly surprised. The tornado flashed, and the violent wind attribute energy surged out. The space ripples were shattered, and the cracks were shocking. So powerful. Seeing Su Yi's terrifying combat power, Wen Fai was shocked. At this moment, Su Yi was surrounded by 3 types of divine light. The galaxy behind him was even denser. Even if Wen Fai fought with such combat power, Wen Fai would have to put in a lot of effort. In the air, light flashed behind Yi. He looked at himself with satisfaction. A blue light flashed, and he appeared in front of everyone. Lord Demon King, Su Tianke, Ling Lanin, Feng Kuang, and the others bowed to Yi. Wen Fai couldn't help but look at him. Lord Demon King? Chapter 2505. Auntie, you're here. Su Yi's eyes moved. He looked at Wen Yi and grinned. Su Yi's energy was bursting out from his body. He had an unparalleled divine aura. Wen Fai sized Su Yi up and down. The first thing he said was, They call you Demon Emperor? Are you in Yun Chani? Yi waved his hand and glared at Handsome Su. The latter chimed in, No. Our boss is the real Chaos Siren King. Chaos Siren King, Wen Fai exclaimed. Hearing that, Wen Fai's expression changed drastically. He released his soul aura and focused it on Yi. The energy of the 3 heaven-suppressing stones rushed out and roared like a dragon. Bang! Wen Fai's body trembled and her blood boiled. She glanced behind her. Phoenix, Peacock, 9 spirit links, and the King of Sword Starfield who worshipped the Blood Sword Godly Palace were all respectful to Yi. Suddenly, Wen Fai nodded and a glimmer of hope appeared in his eyes. I see. If my sister knew that you're the Chaos Siren King, she would be so happy. Su Yi's cultivation had skyrocketed from half-step Yuan Tian Stage 1 to half-step Yuan Tian Stage 4 because of the fusion of the 3 heaven-suppressing stones. At that moment, demonic aura, divine power, vitality, energy, and soul aura gathered on Su Yi's body. The aura he exuded was so powerful that it could topple mountains and overturn seas. Wen Fai's eyes glowed as he praised Su Yi. Auntie, you're here for the Dharma Controller Conference, right? Su Yi retracted his vitality and looked serious. Wen Fai nodded. There's still 3 days. Although your cultivation has increased, the Dharma Controller Conference is not something you can handle. We have to think of a foolproof plan. Su Yi immediately led Wen Fai to the main hall and told him what happened in the illusory demon starfield. Of course, he did not say much about Yin Chani and Feng Yu. As expected, it's still Nanke. Wen Fai's eyes darkened. Su Yi's expression turned solemn as he said, as long as we deal with Nanke, we can avoid the archaic catastrophe. Let's go. Shall I take you somewhere? Where? You'll know when you get there. Then, Su Yi was dressed in black and disguised as the Black Envoy. He followed Yin Chani to a large hall. Ding! The voices of the souls in the sky were like singing songs. Through the glowing curtains, Su Yi and Wen Yi stopped in front of a stone door. I'll give you 6 hours. I'll come and pick you up after 6 hours. Wen Fai said. Where are you going? I'll go to Fei. Then I'll go find Nank. Hearing that, Su Yi frowned. Wen Fai said softly, I'll be back soon. At that time, if Nank doesn't push Yin Jing in front of everyone, he will sacrifice Yin Jing. At that time, the Law Masters will attack him together. Wen Yi walked to the front of the stone door and said coldly, I'm here. After knocking on the door, Wen Fai brushed past Su Yi's shoulder and left without looking back. The two looked at each other, and Su Yi could see the tears in Wen Fai's eyes. You're here, sister. After a long time, a weak voice came from behind the stone door. The hoarse and trembling voice quickly entered Su Yi's ears. This voice, Su Yi exclaimed in his heart. An extremely warm feeling surged into his eyes. The excitement in his eyes made Su Yi's footsteps slow. He couldn't help but put his hand on the wall. Su Yi opened his mouth slightly. He felt a lump in his throat and couldn't make a sound. Su Yi knew who was behind the stone door. As long as there was a sound from behind the stone door, Su Yi would know. Su Yi turned around and looked at the direction Wen Fai disappeared. He also knew. Today, Wen Fai had thought it through. Should he help the people of the Starfield or follow the Law Master's rules? When he brought Su Yi to see Wen Fai had already given Su Yi an answer. First, go find Fei to find a way to escape. Then, go find Nank to verify whether he was right or wrong. Phew! Slowly calming down the tempestuous excitement in his heart, he couldn't help but clench his hands on the stone door. At this time, a soft voice came from inside again. Sister, you said you saw Ya? Is he okay now? Don't let him participate in the Law Master Conference. Buzz. Hearing his mother mention his name, Su Yi's entire body tensed up. Su Yi wanted to answer his mother, but didn't dare to acknowledge her. Tears poured out and his vision blurred. Su Yi looked at the gloomy stone door. It was hard to imagine that his mother had lived in such a place for 20 years. From a day when Fai brought his mother back, Nank had put shackles on his mother. When Fai was also threatened and put on the Law Master's shackles. If Su Yi acknowledged his mother now, not only would it not make his mother happy, it would also cause more trouble for her. She will come back later. You can tell me anything you want to tell me, Su Yi said numbly. He stared at the stone door, and tears flowed down silently. Suddenly, Wen Fu's voice became serious. She asked coldly, Who are you? After a while, Su Yi raised his eyebrows and said with a sigh, I am Fei. Venerable Fei? Wen Fu's voice changed to different degrees. Then, a trace of gratification gushed out from the stone door. A respectful voice said, Venerable Fei, the most impartial and strict existence in the all-beings galaxy. Ye brought you here, it shows that she trusts you a lot. Speaking of which, This Seven Emotions Palace still contains the Master's love thread. A sigh came from the stone door. It turned out that behind the stone door when Fu was the place where the 7 emotions and 6 desires threads were kept. When Fu was in prison here, how could the trip to Nank be described as vicious? I already know about Nank. In 2 days, the Law Master Conference will be held. I will solve it with my junior sister, Su-yi said softly. There was a hidden bitterness in his voice. Bang, bang, bang. Suddenly, the sound of 3 heavy kowtows came from within the stone door. Su-yi was shocked and shouted, "No, Master!" When Fu started to sob again and said softly, "Year would never bring anyone here. Master must be her best friend. Can you persuade him to save Jing, and Year? This has nothing to do with them." Su-yi's heart was in turmoil. The bitterness made his internal organs wrinkle. Then Su-yi sighed. What happened back then? Inside the stone door, a woman's voice came slowly. It was as if she brought Su-yi back to 20 years ago. On the other side, when Phi came to Divine Galaxy. Junior sister, since you were here, why don't you come in and have a seat? In front of the huge palace, Buddhist light shone. The overwhelming aura made when Phi's eyes moved slightly. Hearing this voice, when Phi nodded and walked in with a cold expression. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.